Poems by Emily Dickinson, by Dickinson Yaz. Lem tell about this dope poet, Emily Dickinson fam. She was low-key produced by Jim Tinsley Box. Come and had a whole lot of sick poems. G, her homies Mabel Loomis, Todd and T.W. Higginson were like, hey, let's edit this poetry. And they were totes right, you feel. So Emily's poems are all about that. Portfolio poetry, life, where she just vibes out and expresses herself without thinking about publication or nothing. It's like she's freeing her mind and not worried about what others think. She's got this whole conformity is so extra vibe going on. Anyway, Emily was a total introvert and only came out of her shell to hang with a few close friends. Bruh. She was like super reclusive and spent most of her time indoors, just chilling. But she still wrote a whole lot of poetry, even though it was hard for her to share it with the world. Born in Amherst, Mass. On deck, 10/18/30, Emily grew up to be this iconic poetess who's all about that literary life. Her pops, Hon, Edward, was like a big deal in town and even had his own reception thing going on at his house. Emily was the real MVP, though she'd host these events and everyone would be low-key impressed by how gracious and fly she was. But for real, Emily's life is super mysterious. She only showed up to a few events face to face, and even then people wouldn't know it was her, 'cause she was all about that chilling vibe. Only a few friends knew the real deal fam. This collection of poems is out of love for her personal squad, especially her sis who's still kicking, and also 'cause we know the thoughtful readers will be like, yes, this poetry is fire. With these sick poems, Emily shows us flashes of that William Blake energy, like profound insights into nature and life. Her words are straight fire, but sometimes she frames them in a way that's all whimsical and rugged. Gee, these poems are published just how she wrote M, with some minor changes, 'cause we're keeping it real fam. Although the titles might have gotten a little tweak, almost Yaz, so like Dickinson's poems are always going to be lit, right? They can be super fresh and fragrant, like rain and dew on them, making you feel all the feels. But sometimes they're low-key dark, like shipwrecks or mental health struggles, and you're just over here trying to figure out how she did that with just a few words. And then there's them times when you catch a glimpse of this sick lyric flow, and it's like, for real, you're regretting when it's gone. But for sure, the main vibe of these poems is they're hella deep and insightful, even if they're super uneven sometimes, feel. When you're vibbing with a thought, that's totes life-changing. Grammar just ain't on the same level. You know, like Ruskin was all about it when he said, no weight or mass or beauty of execution can outweigh one grain or fragment of thought. And I'm here for it. So, like, Dickinson's poems were edited by her squad back in the day, and they made some changes to fit the times you feel. They changed her dashes to commas and semicolons, but I got the original handwritten poem right here, and it's fire. One day when summer was peak, I was all about it, and I thought that only saints would experience this level of connection where resurrections happen, and the sun is just like common. The flowers were blowing in the wind, and it was like no need to say anything, 'cause everything was already said. We had a sacred time, you know. Each person was connected to each other in this sealed church, communing with the Lamb at supper. Time went by fast, but we held on tight, bound to opposing lands. And when it was all done, we gave nothing but love, like that's the only bond we needed. The handwriting is a little tricky to read, but you can compare this to the edited version to see how they changed it back in the day. Yaya's World, that Dickinson never wrote to me, like no biggie, just simple news from nature, okay? Her message is all up in the air, but for love of her, y'all, judge me gentle, success. Published in a mask of poets at the request of Etcher, Dickinson's Ride or Die and Friend. Success is hella sweet by those who straight up fail to succeed. You feel. To vibe with that good energy requires being on your lowest, most extra. Not one of all the squad who took the flag today can tell you what it means to be victorious, on whose forbidden ear the distant beats of triumph break, and its low-key agonizing. Our share of struggle to get through, our share of morning sunlight, our blank in pure bliss to fill, our blank in straight-up hating. Here a star and there a star. Some lose their way, gotta admit. Here a mist and there a mist, but then day. Rujit Noah. Soul, are you even gonna try again? Like hundreds have lost the bet, but tens have won big and it's fire. Angels are low-key watching your moves. Imps are straight up trying to get my soul. If Rojgaten, it is so much joy. It is so much joy. If I'm about to fail, what a bummer. And yet, since I took all the risk, I got something for real. Hesitated so hard, this side victory. Life is just life, and death is just death, you know? Bliss is just bliss, and breath is just breath. If I fail, at least to know the worst is lit. Defeat means nothing, but defeat nothing. Drearier can prevail. And if I win, oh, it's like the gun at sea. The bells in the steeples are vibbing. At first they repeat it slow, but then they're all, oh, yes. For heaven is a whole different conjectured, and woke up to, and it's straight fire o' me. Glee. The great storm is over. 4 have recovered the land. 40 gone down together into the boiling sand. Ring for the lil salvation. Toll for the beautiful souls, neighbor and friend and bridegroom, spinning on the shoals. How they will tell the story when winter shakes the door, till the kids ask, but where's the 40? Did they come back? No more. Then a silence suffuses the story, and a softness in the teller's eye, and the kids no further question, and only the waves reply. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I won't be wasting my time. If I can ease one life the pain, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I won't be wasting my time. Almost within my reach, I could have touched. I might have chanced that way, softly walked through the village, walked away as softly, so unsuspected violets lied low in the fields, too late for trying. Fingers that passed, an hour ago. A wounded deer leaps highest, I heard the hunter tell, it is but the ecstasy of death. And then the break is still, the smitten rock that gushes, the trampled steel that springs. A cheek is yours, my dude. So I was chillin', and I found this old book by Dickinson, and it's low-key lit. Like, she's talking about how pain is a real vibe, but we got to take pleasure first, you feel. And then there's these little meds that help numb the hurt. And then, well, you get the idea. The heart is like, hey, I'm good with a little bit of pain, thanks. But then she's all, wait, can't we just chill for a sec? And then those small pleasures come in to save the day. It's like what the will say, it's cool. You're out of here, X. So I was digging through this old library, and it was hella sick. I found these ancient books with the old authors wearing their century outfits, and it was like meeting a legend or something. You get to hold their hand, feel their vibe, and catch some real tea on what was poppin' back then. Her quips are fire, her knowledge is deep, and she's all about the literature. It's like the Og scholars were totally into it, too. And, of course, there's Sappho, Beatrice, and down there straight up iconic. See, some people might say madness is whack, but to some, it's the most lit thing ever. Like, if you can see that, then you're good. But if you're all, well, then you're straight up crazy talk. Sigh. I was like, Dickinson, what's the haps? And she's all, I got you. She gave me the universe, and the merchant was all smiles. 13, though, is when things get real. The soul picks her own crew, shuts the door, and ain't nobody bothering her vibe, Civ. Some stuff that flies, like birds and bees, don't need no elegy 'cause they're just too lit. But some stuff stays around, like grief and hills is just the way it is. 15, though, is when I get stuck how to explain the universe, but I'm low-key hyped that it's still a mystery. XV. So I was chillin' in this lonely house off the road, and it looked straight up sketchy. It had them bars, windows hanging low, and just one peephole, like if you could creep on people while they're asleep. But for real, that place was as ordered, even at night with just a clock and an almanac. You'd think someone woulda told the mice to keep it quiet, but nope, not these mice. There's just some other vibes going on. 17's when the moon starts sliding down the stair, trying to figure out if that mat was just winking or if there's something more. Yayas like Dickinson was chillin' in bed one day, just vibbin' with the fam, and when the sun came up, it was all, hey, what's good? And the birds were all, who's there? Where you from? And this old couple was all, Yaz, we got this sunrise thing going on, XVA, fightin' like a pro is deaf brave, but like for real, who can handle the emotional pain? We're talking internal struggles. Fam, the cavalry of hurt, you feel. Who win and nobody sees, who lose and it's like nobody cares, whose final moments ain't even worth mentioning. We got our squad, the angel crew, rocking them uniforms, looking fly, XVA, dawn. When night is almost over and sunrise is getting close, we can feel the energy. It's time to slay the hair game and get ready for the day, and wonder why we even care about that old tired self that was just chillin' last night. V, the Book of Martyrs. Read, sis, how others fought the good fight, till we're stronger. What they gave up, till we're less scared. How many times they testified to their faith. It's like, we got this. We feel the vibes of those who came before us, like a celestial squad, passed into history, now legendary. 6. The mystery of pain. Pain is all about the unknown, can't even recall when it started or if it existed before. It's just pain, fam. It don't got no future but itself, got its own realm, ain't nobody touchin' XX. I'm sippin' on some tea that ain't from this world. Not all the fancy brews on the Rhine can even compare to this sip. Gettin' lit from the air and low-key in love with dew rollin'. Feelin' that endless summer vibe whenever the landlubber tries to kick me out. The bees and butterflies are just chillin'. Ain't no drama. XC. A book. That dude ate up those words like they was going out of style. His spirit got a major upgrade. He didn't care about his bank account or dust bod, just living life to the fullest, flying high XC. I couldn't even be salty, 'cause death would have gotten in the way, and life just wasn't long enough for me to hold grudges. Nor had I time to love, but since there's got to be some effort, even a tiny bit of love is better than nothing. XE, I'm returning. Like that little boat was just chillin' on the bay. That sea was calling its name, and it went for it, but then the waves came for it, and little craft got swept away. Nor even knew I had a sailboat. Exif. Was my ship going down in the ocean? Yes. So Dickinson was all about the vibes and the metaphors, right? She's got a lot to say, like see, whether she met with gales or Eiffels that are straight fire, she's all bent up on her docile sails by what mystical thing is holding her down today. This is all part of the I's trip out XXV. Belshazzar was Loki, a genius, and got a letter. He only had one. TP, his homie, wrote back, and it's like an immortal vibe. We can feel our consciences without glasses on that wall XV. The brain is all about its own groove, you feel. But when it gets a little wonky, it's hard to get back on track. It's easier for me to put water back in the river than try to fix the hills and turnpikes after floods. I love I. Mine by default, to be mine by the royal stamp of approval mine, because bars can't keep me down mine, even when you're not here, I. Bequest, you left me 2 major gifts. Sis, a legacy of love that's like heavenly and stuff, and these boundaries between pain and eternity, that's some deep stuff. Bro, I. Altar, when the hills do their thing, it's easy to falter when you're trying too hard, but if I'm being real, even the daffodil can't deny its own beauty and vibes if. Suspense if we're sitting in this room together waiting for that next footstep or door creak. What's going to happen, fam? Is it going to be good or bad? V. Surrender, doubt me if you want, but I'm all about the love God would be stoked with. Just a fraction of what we share, I'm giving it my whole self. For what more can I do, bro? Vi. If you were coming in the fall, I'd just chill and move on, brushing summer by with half a smile and half a shrug. But if I could see you again, I'd count down the months, and until we meet again, I'll be counting them on my fingers, Vi. If it was 100 for sure that our love would last, I'd just let go of this life and taste eternity. But right now, it's all unknown, like a mystery bee that won't give me the answer low-key. I'm hidden in my fave flower, and that one you got sittin' pretty on your shelf, you're hella oblivious, feel. Almost like I'm alone, V. Proof. I got proof that I was always low-key loving you, so I brought it to the table. I didn't love enough till I did, and I'm love you forever. I got a vibe for you. That love is life, and life is lit, G. Don't me if you're trippin', sweetie, then I got nothing but Calvary, period. X, you got a little brook in that tiny heart of yours, right? Where the shy flowers blow, and the blushing birds come to drink, and the shadows are all shook up like nobody knows it's there, okay? And yet your life is literally being drained every day, but look out for that little brook in March, when the rivers are overflowing, and the snows are coming straight from the hills, and the bridges keep getting broken, and later in August it might be drying up on you like a parched meadow or something. Don't let that lil brook of life run out. X transplanted. It's like some lil flower from the Arctic went on a wild adventure, traveling down to the equator, until it was all like, what am I doing? I'm talking like if that little flower went to Eden and yours. I got this. What then? Why, nothing. Just your assumption, Jeeksy, the outlet. My river is running straight to you, blue sea. Are you ready? My river's waiting for a reply. Oh, see, look, pretty. I'll grab some brooks from them hidden spots. Say, take me, K. Say, in vain. I ain't trying to live with you. It'd be hella life, but life is over there behind the shelf where the sexton keeps the key to, and we can just chill with our porcelain lives like a discarded cup from the housewife's cabinet, you know. Some newer savours might please some folks, but old ones are still cracking. I could have lived with you, but one got to wait, shut down the other's vibe. You couldn't. And I'm all like, nah, I ain't got time for you to freeze without my frosty touch, death's privilege. Gee. Nor could I rise up with you, because your face would be way too extra for me, and Jesus' new light would put out my eyes, like a hazy vision, except that you're closer than him shining bright by my side, you know. They judge us. How? Because you served the real deal, or at least tried. I couldn't keep up, because I saturated sight, and I'm just a sinner trying to see the world through pure excellence, like paradise. And if you got lost, I'd be lost too, like my name would ring out loud on that heavenly fame. And if you got saved, but I was stuck in hell, that's when it'd be real, 'cause self-loathing would be hell to me, so we got to keep it moving. You over there, me here, with just a little door open between us, oceans, and that pale sustenance despair. See, renunciation. One day at summer's peak I was all wires. This is for the saints, where revelations be. The sun popping, flowers were blowing. Like nothing happened, that makes everything new, period. The time was hella rare. Fan, the symbol of a word, was unnecessary, like my squads go to catchphrase. The wardrobe our Lord was fire, with each other, permitted to connect this time, lest we low-key mess it up at supper of the Lamb. The hours slid fast, as they always do, clutched tight by greedy hands, so faces on two decks looked back, bound to opposing lands. And so, when all that time had failed, without external sound, each bound the other's heart, we gave no other bond. Sufficient troth that we shall rise deposed at length the grave, till that new marriage justified through Calvaries of love, tsiv, love's baptism. I'm done with being theirs, the name they dropped on my face with water in the country church is finished using now, and they can put it with my dolls, my childhood, and the string of spools I've finished threading too. Baptized before without the choice, but this time consciously of grace unto supremest name, called to my full, the crescent dropped. Existence's whole arc filled up with one small diadem. My second rank, too small the first, crowned, crowing on my father's breast, a half unconscious queen, but this time adequate, erect with will to choose or to reject. And I choose just a throne, resurrection. That was a long parting, but the time for interview had come. Before the judgment seat of God, the last and second time these fleshless lovers met, a heaven in a gaze, a heaven of heavens, the privilege of one another's eyes. No lifetime set on them, apparelled as the new unborn, except they had but everlasting now, was bridal air like this, a paradise, the host, and cherubim and seraphim, the most familiar guest. Xvai, apocalypse. I'm wife, I've finished that other state. I'm czar. I'm woman now, it's safer so. How odd the girl's life looks behind this soft eclipse. I think that earth seems so to those in heaven now. This being comfort. Then that other kind was pain, but why compare? I'm wife, stop there, Svi. The wife, she rose to his requirement, dropped the playthings of her life to take the honourable work of woman and of wife. If aught she missed in her new day of amplitude, or first prospective, or the golden using wore away, it lay unmentioned, as the seed develops pearl and weed, but only to himself is known the fathoms they abikes ve, apotheosis. Come slowly, Aidan! Lips unused to thee, bashful, sip thy jasmines, as the fainting bee, reaching late his flower, round her chamber hums, counts his neck, enters, and is lost in balms. Aye, nature, aye. New feet within my garden go, new fingers stir the sod, a troubadour upon the elm betrays the solitude. New children play upon the green, new weary sleep below. And still the pensive spring returns, and still the punctual snow. Aye, Mayflower. Pink, small and punctual, aromatic low, covered in April, candid in May, dear Yaz. Dickinson to Darnall got a respective vibe right next to Day Robin, where every human soul's at da bold little beauty. Loki a goddess, nature's all about dat fire, antiquities like basic eye. Why? Dat be murmurin' is witchcraft. Fam, if you ask me why, it's easier to den tell you feel. Dey red on their hill, taken of my will. If you wanna roast me, just chill, 'cause God got this. If? Want a cop of flour, but I ain't sellin'. If you wanna borrow a lil, till da daffodil's got her yellow bonnet on the village door, till da bees from Clover Rose get their hock and sherry drawn, why, I'll lend it to ooh, but not for an hour. G.V. Dat honey pedigree ain't about day B. A Clover's all that matters. Fam, a lil aristocracy, no cap vey. My service of song. Some keep church, some stay home with a bobolink as my chorister, and an orchard as my dam. Some keep it fancy in surplice, I just rockin' my wings. Our little sexton's got the flow. God preachin', it ain't no thing. The sermon's short, and we're good to go. Instead of gettin' to heaven, I'm livin' my best life. Vey. Dat be ain't afraid of me. I know the butterfly, the woods folk vibe with me. They're all about the love, not day drama. The brooks laugh louder when I come breezes. Madder play. What's good, mine eyes? What's good, oh summer's day? V. Summer's armies, some rainbow comin' from the fair. Some vision of day world, cashmere, no cap or else a peacock's purple train. Feather by feather, on day plain fritters itself away. The dreamy butterflies gettin' lit, lethargic pools resume day wear of last year's sundered tune. From some old fortress under sun, baronial bees marchin', one by one, in murmuring platoon. Ix. The grass so little has to do, a sphere of simple green, with only butterflies and bees to vibe with, and breezes fetchin' along pretty tunes, holdin' sunshine in its lap and bowin' to everything, threadin' dews all night like pearls, mackin' itself so fine. Not even a duchess could keep up with this. Even when it dies, it's all about day vibes, Loki spices gone to sleep, or amulets of pine. Then it gets to dwell in sovereign barns, and dream their days away. The grass so Loki I'm livin', that hay life no cap. A lil road ain't even made by humans, it's straight up accessible. Fam, a bee or butterfly could just roll through, low key, or whatever. If a town is on it, how to describe it, all I can do is sigh and be like, nah, nothing moves me. Sigh. Summer shower. A single drop falls on the apple tree, another one hits the roof, and half a dozen more kiss the eaves and make the gables loll. Some drops even help out the brook that's trying to reach the sea. I'm like, air those pearls. What kind of necklace could we make? The roads get all dusty again, the birds are vibbin', the sun throws its hat away, and the orchards are looking fire. The breeze brings some dejected vibes, but then it's like they're so hyped that they're literally bathed in happiness. The east puts out a single flag, and it's like the party's over, you feel. Ksai, psalm of the day. There's something special about a summer day, even when the lights are slowly dying, which is straight up peaceful. When the sun hits at noon, it's like this vast blue expanse that just transcends everything. You know what I'm saying. And in the middle of the night, there's something so lit that it hands, like my hands want to clap, but then I got a chill cause it's too extra. The wizard fingers ain't stoppin'. The purple brook is still movin' around in my chest, and the east is still flying that amber flag. The sun is still guidin' its caravan of fire, and it's like those flowers heard the tea on the dewdrops, and we're good. But the bees are all. What about us. And then there's some bird that thought summer was just a rumor, or maybe some Arctic creature that got imported to the woods. It's all wild. Yeah. The Sea of Sunset. This is the land where sunset comes in and washes over everything. These are the banks of the Yellow Sea. It's like this whole Western mystery, fam. Every night the purple traffic just pours in and spreads opal bales on the landing. Merchant ships come in and out with ferry sails, and then they're gone low-key. Sieve. Purple clover. There's a flower that bees are all about, and butterflies too. It's like this purple democrat. You feel. The hummingbirds are trying to get in on the action, but whatever insect comes through, it gets some honey, and it's all proportional to its needs. The flower is rounder than the moon and rudder than that rhododendron gown. It's like she ain't even waiting for June to come around. Her face is all sturdy and stuff, standing up against the wind, taken on the grass, being its own kinsman. She ain't got no jealousy, bro. When the hills are full and new trends pop up, she's still rocking that same spice. And her public is just noon time. Her providence is the sun. And it's all about progress by the bee, you know. Loki, no cap, it's like this sovereign, no drama tune. The bravest of the host, knowing defeat ain't the end. When the frost hits hard, no doubt XV the bee. I'm chillin' like trains on tracks, flowers gettin' shook jar going through, velvet masonry on point, until the sweet vibes, their swag is fire, while they're killin' it victorious to vanquish other blooms. His feet are rockin' gauze, helmet's gold, breast got a single onyx with chrysoprase inlaid. His grind is a bop, idleness is a vibe. Oh, for that be life clovers and noon. Presentiment is that long shadow on the lawn, sun going down you feel. The notice to the grass that darkness is comin', oh caps V. When kids say goodnight, then they slow roll. My flowers get ready for 100 cribs will peep, prance again. Angels in the morn, dews droppin', pluckin', smiling, flyin', do buds belong. Angels when the sun is heat, sands shinnin', sighin', flyin' parched flowers, bearin' along X6. I was low-key nervous when I saw her, so pretty, so savage, so hidden in her leaflets, lest nobody find, so breathless till I passed her, so helpless when I turned and bore her, struggling, blushing her simple haunts beyond. For whom I robbed the dingle, for whom betrayed the dell, many will doubtless ask me, but I ain't tellin', X. 2 worlds. Seasons fit the same abroad, the mornings blossom into noons, flame pods poppin', wild flowers kindle in the woods, brooks brag all day. No blackbird baits his jargoning for passin' Calvary auto day. Fee and judgment ain't a thing to the bee. His separation from his rose seems misery x the mountain. The mountain sat upon the plain in his eternal chair, observation on the fold, inquest everywhere. The seasons prayed around his knees like kids, round sire, grandfather of the days. Is he of dawn the ancestor X? A day, I'll tell you how the sun rose, ribbon at a time. Steeples swam in amethyst, news like squirrels ran, hills untied their bonnets, bobolinks begun then. I said softly to myself, that was the sun. But how he set, I ain't knowin' there seemed a purple style little yellow boys and girls climb in, till they reached the other side. A dominie in grey put gently up the evening bars and led the flock away X6. The butterfly's assumption gown in chrysoprase apartments hung this afternoon put on. How condescending to descend buttercups, my friend, in a New England town. Xiv. The wind? Of all the sounds dispatched abroad, there ain't none like me like Yayaz. Dickinson's vibes are straight fire, fam. That old measure in the branches ain't no melody without a purpose. Gotta get that wind moving, like it's chillin' on them clouds. Them tufts of tunes got permission from the gods and me too. When winds go round and round in bands and hit the door hard, like some bird squat overhead, I'm all about that summer breeze. If you're an outcast, don't me. You never heard that chillin' chant, rise up like a caravan on them deserts in the sky, then vibe with the tree and pass through like nobody's business. Sex, V, death and life. No cap. No cap. Happy flowers get beheaded by frost all day, every day. Ain't no surprise, fam. The blonde assassin Acre, winter, keeps it movin' like sun ain't even bothered to show up. God's got the power. For real. XX was later when summer was poppin' than when that cricket came knockin'. But we knew it was all about that home life. Bruh. It was sooner when the cricket went than winter arrived. Yet that pendulum keeps it moving like some esoteric time machine. Indian summer. These are the days when birds come back for a sec, just a few, maybe two, to take a backward look, like they're all, hey, I'm out of here. These days when skies go all fancy with them old June vibes, a blue and gold mistake. Oh, fake BAK summer. You can't even fool me. Almost got my seal of approval till seeds are all like, hey, witness us. And some leaf is just chilling through the altered air. Bruh. Xphere. Autumn. Mornings are more low-key than they used to be. Nuts. Getting brown, berry cheeks poppin'. Roses out of town vibes. Maple's rockin' a gayer scarf. Field's got a scarlet gown on. Don't me if I'm old-fashioned, but I'll put a trinket on. 6-6. Be clouded. Sky is low. Clouds are extra mean. Snowflakes like I'm a debate go or not. Wind's all whiny complaining about how someone treated it. Nature's like us, sometimes caught without her crown. Sex, the hemlock. Hemlock's all about the snow marge. It suits his vibe, and he's all about that wilderness life. The plan's where it's at. You feel. Hemlock's nature thrives on cold. Northern winds are like his fave wine. Don't me if I'm wrong. Sexy. There's a certain slant of light. On winter afternoons, that light gives us some real feels, like cathedral tunes weighing us down. Heavenly hurt, fam. We can't find no scar, but that internal difference is all we got. None can teach it to nobody. It's like the seal of despair. Imperial affliction locuus of the air. When it comes, the landscape is all ears. Shadows hold their breath. When it goes, it's like we're stuck in a chokehold on the look of death. Every time and eternity. One dignity takes a back seat for all. One might afternoon feels like a whole day. Nobody can avoid this purple vibes. Nobody can evade this crown game. Coachman and footman, chamber and state and throng bells in the village as we ride Loki grand along. What dignified attendance, what service when we pause. How loyally they raise them 100 hats at parting. How dope is that pomp surpassing ermine. When simple you, and I present our meek escutcheon, and claim the rank to die like a boss, aye, too late. Delayed till she had ceased to know, delayed till in its snow vest her loving bosom lay, an hour behind the fleeting breath, later, by just an hour than death. Oh, lagging yesterday. Could she have guessed that it would be, could but a crier of the tea have climbed the distant hill, had not the bliss so slow a pace? Who knows but this surrendered face were undefeated still? Oh, there may departing be any forgot by victory in her imperial round. Show them this meek apparelled thing, that could not stop to be a king, doubtful if it be crowned. Astra Castra. Departed to the judgment, a mighty afternoon, great clouds like ushers leaning, creation looking on. The flesh surrendered cancelled, the bodiless begun. Two worlds like audiences disperse and leave the soul alone, ever. safe in their alabaster chambers, untouched by morning, and untouched by noon sleep the meek members of the resurrection, rafter of Satan and roof of stone. Light laughs the breeze in her castle of sunshine, babbles the bee in a stolid ear, pipe the sweet birds in ignorant cadence. Ah! What sagacity perished here! Grand go the years, in the crescent above them worlds scoop their arcs, and firmaments row, diadems drop and doges surrender, soundless as dots on a disk of snow. V. On this long storm the rainbow rose, on this late morn the sun. The clouds, like listless elephants, horizons straggled down. The birds rose smiling in their nests. The gales indeed were done. Alas, how heedless were the eyes on whom the summer shone! The quiet nonchalance of death no daybreak can bestir. The slow archangel's syllables must awaken her. V. From the chrysalis. My cocoon is getting tight, colours are popping. I'm feeling for the air. A dim capacity for wings degrades the dress I wear. A power of butterfly must be the aptitude to fly, meadows of majesty, concedies, and easy sweeps of sky. So I must baffle at the hint and cipher at the sign, and make much blunder, if at last I take the clue divine. Vai, setting sail. Exultation is the going of an inland soul to sea, past the houses, past the headlands, into deep eternity. Bred as we among the mountains, can the sailor understand the divine intoxication of the first league out from land? Veer. Look back on time with kindly eyes, Hiloki did his best. How softly sinks his trembling sun in human nature's west. Ix. A train went through a burial gate, a bird broke forth and sang and trilled, and quivered, and shook his throat till all the churchyard rang, and then adjusted his little notes and bowed and sang again. Doubtless he thought it meet of him to say good-bye to men. X. I died for beauty, but was hella unadjusted in the tome when one who died for truth was lain in an adjoining room. He questioned softly why I failed. For beauty, I replied, and I for truth. The Tualoki one, we brethren are, he said. And so, as kinsmen met a night, we talked between the rooms until the moss had reached our lips and covered up our names. Troubled about many things. How many times these low feet staggered. Only the soldered mouth can try. Can you stir the awful rivet? Try. Can you lift the hasps of steel? Stroke the cool forehead, hot so often, lift, if you can, the listless hair, handle the adamantine fingers. Never a thimble more shall wear. Buzz the dull flies on the chamber window. Brave shines the sun through the freckled pane. Fearless the cob swings from the ceiling. Indolent housewife, in Daisy's lane. Sigh. Real. I like a look of agony because I know it's true. Men do not sham convulsion nor simulate a throe. The eyes glaze once, and that is death. Impossible to feign the beads upon the forehead by homely anguish strung. The funeral, that short potential stir that each can make, but once that bustle so illustrious is almost consequence, is the eclat of death. Oh, though unknown renown, that not a beggar would accept, had he the power to spurn. I went to thank her, but she slept her bed a funnelled stone, with nosegays at the head and foot that travellers had thrown. Who went to thank her, but she slept. It was short to cross the sea, to look upon her like alive, but turning back it was slow. XV. I've seen a dying eye run round and round a room in search of something, as it seemed, then cloudier become, and then obscure with fog, and then be soldered down, without disclosing what it be that were blessed to have seen. XV refuge. The clouds their backs together laid, the north begun to push, the forests galloped till they fell, the lightning skipped like mice, the thunder crumbled like a stuff. How good to be safe in tomes where nature's temper cannot reach, nor vengeance ever comes. Xvi. I never saw a moor, I never saw the sea, yet know I how the heather looks, and what a wave must be. I never spoke with God, nor visited in heaven, yet certain am I of the spot as if the chart were given. Xvi. Playmates. God permits industrious angels afternoons to play. I met one, forgot my Loki fam for Dickinson straight away. No cap God calls home the angels, Loki prompt at sunset. I was Maya. How extra marbles after that crown game, 6-6. To know how he was feeling would be real talk, to know if any human eyes were nearby for him to vibe with his wavering gaze until it settled firm on paradise. To know if he was patient, part content, was dying as he thought, or different. Was it a sick day to die, and did the sunshine face his way? What was his furthest mind of home or God, or what the tea is at news that he sees human nature on such a day, and wishes, had he any? Just his sigh, accented, had been legible to me, and was he confident until he fluttered out in everlasting well, and if he spoke, what name was best, what first, what one broke off with at the drowsiest? Was he afraid, or tranquil? Might he know how consciousness could grow till love that was, and love too blessed to be, meet, and the junction be eternity? X. The last night she lived, it was a normie night, except the dying. This to us made nature different. We noticed smallest things, things overlooked before, by this great light up on our minds, italicized, as it were, that others could exist while she must finish quite. A jealousy for her arose so nearly infinite. We waited while she passed. It was a narrow time. Too jostled were our souls to speak. At length the notice came. She mentioned and forgot, then lightly as a reed bent to the water, shivered scarce, consented, and was dead. And we placed the hair, and drew the head erect, and then an awful leisure was our faith to regulate. Xai, the first lesson. Not in this world to see his face sounds long, until I read the place where this is said to be but just the primer to a life unopened, rare upon the shelf, clasped yet to him and me. And yet my primer suits me, so I would none choose a book to know than that, be sweeter wise, might someone else so learn be, and leave me, just my A-beat himself could have the skies. Say, the bustle in a house, the morning after death, is solemnest of industries enacted upon earth, the sweeping up the heart, and putting love away we shall not want to use again until eternity. Xai. I reason earth is short and anguish absolute, and many hurt, but what of that? I reason we could die, the best vitality cannot excel decay, but what of that? I reason that in heaven somehow it will be even, some new equation given, but what of that? Excessive. Afraid. Of whom am I afraid? Not death, for who is he? The porter of my father's lodge as much abasheth me. Of life. It were odd, I fear, a thing that comprehendeth me in one or more existences at deity's yas. Dickinson was Loki, freaking out, run-like. He's all, is the East too extra to trust me with my resurrection vibes. And then he's like Peach, my crown, XXV. Dying. The sun was setting, still setting, no filter on the afternoon on the village. It was literally noon. The dust kept dropping, still dropping, no dew on the grass, but only on my forehead, and it was hella lit and wandered in my face. My feet were drowsy still, my fingers were woke, yet why so little sound myself, though? How well I knew the light before. I could not see it now. It is dying. I am doing, but I'm not shook. Xfai. 2 swimmers were low, key wrestling on the boat until the morning sun, when one turned up smiling to the land. Oh God! The other one, The stray ships passing spied a face on the waters borne, with eyes in death still begging raised, and hands beseeching throne. XXV, the chariot! Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. The carriage held but just ourselves and immortality. We slowly drove. He knew no haste, and I had put away my labour, and my leisure too, for his civility. We passed the school where kids were playing their lessons, scarcely done. We passed the fields of gazing grain. We passed the setting sun. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice but a mound. Since then ease centuries, but each feels shorter than the day I first surmised the horses' heads were toward eternity. She went as quiet as the dew from a familiar flower. Not like the dew did she return at the accustomed hour. She dropped as softly as a star from out my summer's eve, less skilful than Leverrier it soarer to believe. 6. Risagam, at last to be identified, at last the lamps upon thy side, the rest of life to see. Midnight past the morning star, past sunrise, ah! What leagues there are between our feet and day, sex, except to heaven, she is not, except for angels lone, except to some wide, wandering bee. A flower superfluous blown, except for winds. Provincial, except by butterflies, are noticed as a single do that on the acre lies. The smallest housewife in the grass, yet take her from the lawn, and somebody has lost the face that made existence home, sexy. Death is a convo between the spirit and the dust. Dissolve, says death. The spirit, say, I have another trust, or death doubts it, argues from the ground. The spirit turns away, just laying off, for Evans an overcoat of clay. Xexe, it was too late for man, but early yet for God. Creation impotent to help, but prayer remained our side. How excellent the heaven, when earth cannot be had, how hospitable, then the face of our old neighbor God, Xexia, along the Potomac. When I was small, a woman died. Today her only boy up from the Potomac, his face all victory, Loki looking at her. How slow the seasons must have been till them bullets clipped an angle, and he got turned up quick. Fam, if pride's a thing in paradise, I'm still trying to decide of their imperial conduct nobody testified. But proud you feel that woman and her boy passing by, getting played before my brain, like every single time in the sky, jeeks exiv. The daisy follows soft the sun, and when his golden walk is done, sitting low key at his feet, he wakes up, finds the flower near for, marauder, art thou here? Because, sir, love is lit. We're the flower, you the sun. Forgive us if as days decline, we gettin' closer to thee, enamored of the parting, west, the peace, flight, the night's possibility, G, XXV, emancipation. No rack can torture me, my soul's on liberty, behind till bone there's a bolder one knit, in you cannot prick with saw, nor rend with scimitar. Two bodies therefore be, bind one, and one will flee. The eagle of his nest no easier divest and gain the sky, than mayest thou, except thyself may be thine enemy. Captivity is consciousness, so's liberty, Jexv. Lost. I lost a world the other day. Has anybody found? You'll know it by the row of stars around its forehead bound. A rich man might not notice it, yet to my Loki eye, of more esteem than ducats. I find it, sir? For me. Sex me. If I shouldn't be alive when the robins come, give the one in red cravat a memorial crumb. If I couldn't thank you, being just asleep, you will know I'm trying to thank with my granite lip. Sexvia. Sleep is supposed to be, by souls of sanity, the shutting of the eye. Sleep is the station ground down which, on either hand, the hosts of witness stand. Morn is supposed to be, by people of degree, the break-in of the day. Morning has not occurred. That shall aurora be east of eternity, one with the banner gay, one in the red array. That is the break of day. 6-6. I'll know why when time is over, and I have ceased to wonder why. Christ will explain each separate anguish in the fair schoolroom of the sky. He will tell me what Peter promised, and I, for wonder at his woe, I shall forget the drop of anguish. That scalds me now. That scalds me now. Slop. I never lost as much but twice, and that was in the sod. Twice have I stood a beggar before the door of God. Angels, twice descending, rain-burst my store. Burglar, banker, father, I am poor once more. Loki, her biggest haters are hating on this one so hard, but also kind of admiring it at the same time. This second book is giving the same vibe as the first one, with its own set of beauties. Emily had been low-key writing poetry for her friends and fam, but nobody knew she was a total genius. A hermetic? Probably suspected it, though, cause in a letter on Sept. 5th, 1884, he wrote her, "Hey, bestie, who must have so many sick verse portfolios or something? It's hella unfair to your legacy that you ain't sharing them with the world yet. If I'm still around when you're done with this earth life, please make me a literary homie and executor. 8. Maybe after I pop, all be down to share of verses with the rest of us." That's what we got to do for each other, right? Yours truly, Helen Jackson turned those portfolios were found by her Sis after she passed, and they had these fire poems all typed up on note paper. Some were straight fire, others needed a little work. They even got some dope footnotes with crazy words and phrases, and when she sent them to friends, they came in different styles, like whoa. Her squad is super generous, though, and they gave us access to these poems so we can vibe with them. We don't know what would have happened if Emily had published this stuff herself, but let's just say it was probably going to be a lot more curated. For now, let's just see her as an artist in the making, getting all the vibes ready for that next level art piece. Emily started written poems in 1862, and by April 1863, she was already low-key killing the game with some sick verses. Her handwriting changed a lot over time, from all fancy and delicate to straight fire bold. And let's be real, most of her poems are just a bunch of dashes and no punctuation, but that's what makes him so lit. Dickinson's words are low-key lit and straight fire, bruh. Like the effect of one of her newer manifestos is hella quaint and strong, no cap. She took a facsimile from an earlier vibe, so we can arrange the poems by chronology. K. Usually they didn't have titles, but some of M were named by her low-key at the end, or in a note to a homie. Sometimes her editors had to deal with variations and unclear scribbles, which was extra stressful. But they kept 100 and didn't touch up her flow unless necessary. Like Dickinson's rhymes are all about challenging the status quo, fam. She'd avoid smooth rhymes and just vibe on some weird impressionist stuff. It's like you gotta listen with your whole mind, not just your ears feel. She was all about keeping it real and authentic, and her poems reflect that. Dickinson wasn't afraid to touch on heavy subjects like death and the afterlife, but she didn't do it in a hella morbid way. She just vibe on some weird poetic stuff, and you'd be all, bro, this is deep. And yeah, she did have that Emersonian self-possession thing going on, but it was more about her own life experiences and observations, not just some pretentious philosophy. Anyway, Dickinson lived a normal life in her own way, surrounded by nature and her homies. The first Robin's arrival was like a major milestone, bruh, and she always felt this vibe of immortality. but it wasn't all morbid or whatever. She just lived with that presence, you feel. So, yeah, my nose days are for captives, and I'm Loki trying to spread the word about Dickinson's fire poetry. G.U. Like a frog, right? To Loki tell a name 247 to some adoring fan and base. I bring that 5-hour wine to lips that's been hella parched next to mine, and I'm like, let's get lit, crackling with fever. They try to vibe, I turn my eyes away, and the next hour I'm like, oh. The hands still got the glass, but her lips, forget about it, bruh. They're so extra cold, I'd rather warm up the spots where frost lives, you feel. Some other thirsty person might be all over this, but I'll just keep it moving. If mine is the drop that matters, I guess some pilgrim's gotta get their thirst quenched, maybe. When I finally wake up from this dream, and I'm like, yes, I got this, the nearest goal fades away unrealized, fam, the sky we chase. Like a June bee trying to get to that easy clover, it's all about the royal clouds lifted high on some fire pinnace, not even noticing that little boy staring at the fake sky, gee, homeless for that real honey. Bruh! The bee's got to fly fast, though. That brews that rare variety. Your if. We play around with paste until we're Loki pearls, then drop it and be all, hiya, I'm a fool. The shapes were similar, but our new hands had some sick gem tactics practicing on the sand Vibin V. I found this one phrase for every thought I ever had, but that one defies me, like a hand trying to chock the sun to those kids who ain't never seen the light. How would you even get started? Can you make that flame pop in cochineal or mazarin? Why hope? Hope is the real mevip that sits in your soul and sings its own tune, no words needed, and it's always turned up, even in the harshest weather. You gotta be extra hard to shut down that little bird keepin' us warm on the chilliest days. Anywhere I've heard it on the strangest sea, but never asked for nothin'. Why? The white heat. Dare you see a soul at the white heat? You better get out of the way, broe. Red is the fire's basic color, but when that vivid or gets lit up, it's all about that anointed blaze least villager got a blacksmith, right? That anvil's like a symbol for the real deal hammering away with no sound, refining those impatient ores until they get it together, until the designated light comes through. Don't me veer. Triumphant. Who never lost his unprepared fam a coronet to find, who never thirsted flagons and cooling tamarind, who never climbed that hard league. Can you even explore the purple territories on Pizarro's shore? How many legions overcame this? The emperor will tell you how many colors taken on Revolution Day. How many bullets in your arsenal? You got the royal scar. Angels write, promoted on this soldier's forehead. Ix, the test. I can wade through grief. Bro yars. I'm low-key used to that fam. But them smallest vibes of joy, they pop my feet out of my body, and I get shook. Gee, don't let a little pebble smile at you, 'cause it's the new sauce. And I ain't got time for that. Power is just pain, bro, and I'm trying to level up through discipline till I'm on top. Give them giants some telk, and they'll be hella weak like a snail, lol. Give Himmela some love, and they'll be Loki carrying him escape. I never hear the word escape without getting hyped, fam. A sudden expectation, a fly attitude you feel. I don't hear about prisons being all chill by soldiers who are just trying to cop out. But I'm over here like, I got bars, and I ain't even trying to fail again. Compensation for ecstatic minute. We got to pay the price in a major way in some real quivering ratio to the ecstasy. It's all about the feels. Gee. For each loved hour, it's like sharp pittances of years. Bitter coins that are just trying to buy our peace of mind. The martyrs, these martyrs they went through that straight up suffering, they even walked on temptation, and their faces were on God. Fam. It was like a whole crew of saints all chillin', convulsions playing around them, but they ain't hurtin', just harmless vibes like meteor streaks on a planet's boundary. Their faith is the real deal. Their expectations are fire. The needle is wadding through polar air like it don't even care. Say a prayer. I was trying to keep it low, key simple fam, just content and heaven. But since my last prayer included some extra sauce, it would have been hella cool if it was just that one thing, but no, Grace had to throw in the works. And now I'm like, Great Spirit, give me a heaven that's not too extra for yours. A smile came across Jehovah's face. The cherubim gave me some side eye, and the saints were all, look at this dude, and they showed their dimples, too. I left that place with all my might. My prayer was just a vibe, but it got picked up by the quiet ages, and judgment came through too. Like, if you're going to take the tale for true, you better be low, key honest, or else you'll get what's coming, fam. But I'm like, I see right through that. As a kid who got swindled once, all con artists are in my eyes. See, there's more to this whole thing than just a thin veneer. Is it like when you're looking at a pair of shoes and the laces just reveal the drama? Your soul is like your own personal imperial friend, or it's like that one, an enemy who's always watching your back secure against itself, no cap, it's its own sovereign, and it shouldn't fear anything. It's fine. Surgeons got to be hella careful when they're stabbing away life is the real culprit underneath their fancy cuts, The railway train. I'm low-key obsessed with watching the train lap the miles and suck 'em valleys like a thirsty camel, and then it stops to refuel at these tanks, and it's all, hey, I'm the king of the mountains, and it peeks over in shanties by the side of roads, and it's all, I'm the one who makes this work. And then it starts to pare down its sides and crawl through between, complaining all the while in some hella dramatic language. Then it chases itself downhill and neighs like a donkey yayas. Dickinson's got the tea like Bornage's, you feel. Then, punctual as a star, stop dock, it's Loki omnipotent and all that jazz at its own stable door. The show. The show is hella real, but the ones who go are, where it's at, G. My neighbour's got a whole menagerie, me fair play, we both went to sea. 6. Pain makes life pictorial, you know. It's more fire, because it's impossible to gain anything from it. The mountain looks sick and amber, but when I approach it, the amber flits around, and that's basically the sky, Jakes. I got a thought today that hit me all over again, but I didn't finish the convo, bruh. I couldn't even pinpoint when it happened or what it was. Maybe I just ain't got the art of saying it. But somewhere in my soul, I know I met this thing before, and now it's gone for good. Yeah, here. Sexy. Is heaven like a real dog, boo? They say he can heal, but medicine posthumous is what you feel. And what about the exchequer? We owe it to them, but I'm not even at that table. See, the return. No matter how late I get home, I'll be compensated, G. The ecstasy they've been waiting for will be better than what I can say right now. When night descends and everything's dark, they'll hear my unexpected knock, and it'll be all about the vibes you feel. Xiai. A poor heart, a tattered one, just chillin', didn't even notice the day was passing by or that night was coming in slow. The angels found me, though, and took me under their wing. They carried me to God, where it's all about the sandals and the blue heavens, you know, sexive. Too much. I should have been too hyped for life. But the truth is, it's just a little too much G. My energy would have been too high for this new circumference, and I wouldn't have wanted to be the extra. I should have been too rescued, you feel? But fear was too real for me to say what I knew so perfect yesterday. XV. Shipwreck. It tossed around like a little brig I knew, got blown off course by the wind, and now it's all gone G Loki, and hella shook for morn. It slipped and slipped, as one that was drunk of its white foot tripped, then dropped from sight. Ah, brig, good night to crew and you, the ocean's heart too smooth, too blue, to break for you. Sexvi. Victory comes late, and is held low to freezing lips, too wrapped with frost to take it. How sweet it would have tasted, just a drop. Was God so extra? His table spread too high for us unless we dine on tip-toe. Crumbs fit such little mouths, cherries suit robins. The eagle's golden breakfast strangles them. God keeps his oath to sparrows, who of little love know how to starve. 6v, enough? God gave a loaf to every bird, but just a crumb to me. I dare not eat it, though I starve. My poignant luxury to own it, touch it, prove the feat that made the pellet mine. Too happy in my sparrow chance for ampler coveting. It might be famine all around, I could not miss an ear. Such plenty smiles upon my board, my garner shows so fair. I wonder how the rich may feel, an Indiaman, an earl. I deem that I with but a crumb am sovereign of them all. XV. Experiment to me is every one I meet, if it contain a kernel, the figure of a nut presence upon a tree, equally plausibly, but meet within his requisite to squirrels, and to me, X6. My country's wardrobe. My country need not change her gown, her triple suit as sweet as when it was cut at Lexington, and first pronounced a fit. Great Britain disapproves. The stars. Disparagement discreet. There's something in their attitude that taunts her bayonet. Sex. Faith is a fine invention for gentlemen who see, but microscopes are prudent in an emergency. Sexy. Except the heaven had come so near, so seemed to choose my door. The distance would not haunt me, so I had not hoped before. But just to hear the grace depart, I never thought to see, afflicts me with a double loss. It is lost, and lost to me. Xai. Portraits are to daily faces as an evening west to a fine, pedantic sunshine in a satin vest. Xi. The duel? I took my power in my hand, and went against the world was not so much as David had, but I was twice as bold. I aimed my pebble, but myself was all the one that fell. Was it Goliath was too large, or only I too small? Excessive. A shady friend for torrid days is easier to find than one of higher temperature for frigid hour of mind. The vein a little to the east scares muslin souls away. If broadcloth breasts are firmer than those of organdy, who is to blame? The weaver! Ah! The bewildering thread! The tapestries of paradise so notelessly are made, Trex V, the goal. Each life converges to some center expressed or still, exists in every human nature a goal. Yes, Dickinson was low-key trying to figure some stuff out. No. He was hella cautious about getting too close to credibility, but he still got hyped about reaching for that high heaven. It's like the sky is lit, but you can't just touch it, feel. You gotta be all in and perseverate through the struggle. Some people might say it's pointless, but Dickinson was all eternity. Am I right? So, before he got his eye checked low, he was just trying to enjoy life like everyone else. You feel. He liked looking at the sky, the meadows, the mountains, everything. It was all about him, fam. And when he thought about it more, his heart was like, bruh, I got this. The whole world was his for the taking. Talking to beggars and stuff. Loki's shady. Dickinson knew better than that. You've got to be careful about who you're talking to, especially if they're trying to low-key scam you. And when it comes to captives, he was all huskwad. Don't trust nobody. He learned from his own experiences in the dark places. Dickinson was like a preacher, preaching about truth and breath, but really just spreading hate. His vibes were all wrong, fam. The truth is, like, it's not supposed to be all flashy and stuff. And when it comes to simplicity, he was just a phony. What would the real Jesus say if he met someone as fake as Dickinson? Good night, who put out the candle, a jealous ziffer, no cap. But for real, Dickinson had no idea how long those angels had been trying to keep that celestial wick lit. When Dickinson was hyped about something, he feared getting it wrong, you feel. He was like a ghost in the church, but not in a good way. The spectre of doom was always lurking. A deed goes out first and then comes back to you, fam. It's like your thoughts are trying to manifest something, but they got to go through the manufacturing process first. Dickinson's enemy is getting old, and they got this. The hate is faded, and anger is just a myth. When it comes down to it, remorse is when you remember all the stuff you did wrong, and it's like your own personal spectre is chilling with you. Remorse is like a memory that won't shut up, fam. It's always trying to come back and haunt you. Yes, Dickinson's got some real tea to spill. Like, remorse is a major bummer, and even God can't heal it. That's just how it is. You feel. The body grows outside. But if the spirit wants to chill, its temple is always open for biz. It's low-key secure, inviting, and never rats out your soul when you're being real with it. A starving dude might get hyped about a meal. Even if it's just some bread, he'll be like, Waz, this is everything. But for real, it's all about perspective. We can get caught up in the vibes and forget that it's just food. You know, Dickinson's got a heavy heart, but a lil bird outside their window is whistling some fire tunes. It's like the bird is trying to bring some joy to the situation, even if it's just for a sec. This bird's got some real swag, like it's saying, hey, I'm just chillin'. And you should too. It's all about vibbing with nature, you feel. But for real, life can be hard. Dickinson might think they've found peace, but nope, it's still far away. They're like, see the land, but I'm stuck in the sea. Dickinson needs some books to get through the tough times. Their books are like kinsmen, and they help them bring power through. It's all about finding that balance between chilling and doing things. This thing Dickinson has got to deal with. It can't be fixed. When fate throws you a curveball, you just got to roll with it and take a deep breath. You got to be like, I'm good, I got this. Dickinson's been hangry for real, though. They've been going without food for ages, and they're like, where's my snack? But then they realize that hunger is just something people outside have. It ain't nothing to be worried about. So Dickinson's all, he got this, I'm catching some vibes. They're climbing their way up, even when it feels like the world is against them. It's all about finding that inner peace and getting back on track. The sky trying to strategy whatevs. I'm low. Key gained it. This was all bruh. Look how I'm clutching it, lest it fall, and I simp go, unfitted by an instant's grace, for the contented beggar's face I were an hour ago. Gee. To learn the vibes by the pain, as blind men learn the sun, to die of thirst, suspecting that brooks in meadows run, fam, to stay the homesick feet upon a foreign shore haunted by native lands, the while, and blue beloved air. This is the sovereign angst, this the signal woe. These are the patient Lariots, whose voices, trained below, ascend in ceaseless carol, inaudible indeed to us, the duller scholars of the mysterious bard. Lai. Returning. Our years had been from home, and now, before the door, I dared not open, lest a face I never saw before stare vacant into mine and ask my business there. My business, just a life I left, was such still dwelling there. I fumbled at my nerve, I scanned the windows near, the silence like an ocean rolled and broke against my ear. I laughed a wooden laugh that I could fear adore, who danger in the dead had faced, but never quaked before. Fitted to the latch my hand with trembling care, lest back awful door should spring and leave me standing there. I moved my fingers off as cautiously as glass, and held my ears, and like a thief fled gasping from the house. Live prayer. Prayer is the little tool through which where presence is denied them. They fling their speech by means of it in God's ear. If then he hear, this sums the apparatus comprised in prayer. Love, I know that he exists somewhere in silence. He has hid his rare life from our gross eyes. It is an instant's play. It is a fond ambush just to make bliss earn her own surprise. But should the play prove piercing earnest, should the glee glaze in death's stiff stare, would not the fun look too expensive? Would not the jest have crawled too far? Lve melodies unheard. Musicians wrestle everywhere all day among the crowded air. I hear the silver strife, and waking long before the dawn, such transport breaks upon the town, I think it that new life. It is not bird, has no nest, nor band in brass and scarlet dressed, nor tambourine, nor man. It is not him from pulpit raid, the morning stars the tribble led on time's first afternoon. Some say it is the spheres at play. Some say that bright majority of vanished dames and men. Some think it service in the place where we, with late celestial face, please God, shall ascertain. Leve, called back, just lost when I was saved, just felt the world go by, just girt me for the onset with eternity, when breath blew back, and on the other side I heard recede the disappointed tide. Therefore, as one returned, I feel, odd Yaz, let me spill some tea. Some sailor was low, key vibing with foreign shores, and this pale reporter was trying to get that scoop before the deadline. Next time, they're ghostin'. Next time, the things they saw were so fire, but nobody noticed 'cause it was on the down low. Next time, they were just chillin', while the ages passed me by slow and the cycles keep spinning. Aye, love, high choice. I've low-key chosen my ride or die, and it's not for everyone. When reason takes a hike and subterfuge is on the menu, when what's real and what's old are like two different things, and this fleeting life of flesh is all about shifting sands. When figures are serving looks and the fog clears away, I'm over here like, yas, I took that atom. I don't got no life but this one, to live it to the fullest, nor any death, except when I got to dip out, nor tie downs to the earth, nor a new wave, except through this one fire, the realm of you, boo. Aye. Your riches taught me that poverty is lit. Like a millionaire in my own way, not just about the Benjamins, but about being broke and still vibing. It's all about being low. Key rich with you, like we're cruising through Buenos Aires. And I'm all about that poverty life. It's like the ultimate wealth. Gee, I don't know much about mines, but I got the tea on gems common as can be, and way more fire than the Queen's diamonds. I'd be so extra if I met the Queen. But for real, this is some different kind of wealth. To miss it is to be basic. I'm low-key sure that India is where it's at for those who see you without judgment, no cap. And Golconda. That's like my happy place, far, far beyond my reach, but I can feel the vibes. It's all about having a smile for mine each day and knowing there's gold to be found, even if it's just in time. If the contract. I gave myself to him, and we made ourselves out of thin air. This contract was all about the love, life, the more expensive the better. My wealth might not be as lit as his, but this is like the ultimate purchase. The more I give, the less I see. But for real, it's mutual risk, because some people find it a win-win. We're in it together, for better or worse. That's what I call a sweet debt of life. V. Come in here. Happy Letum. Tell him the page I didn't write. I was just trying to keep it real. Tell him I only said the words and left the feels out. Tell him how my fingers were moving slow, slow, slow. And then you wished you had eyes in your pages, 'cause you could see what moved them so. Tell him I wasn't no pro writer. You knew it from the way the sentence dragged. You could hear me struggling to keep up. That's when I was most alive. Yes, you feel? Like Dickinson, right? So this lady's all, I'm low, key salty, about what went down and stuff. She's trying to tell someone to keep it on the down low, 'cause if they find out, it'd be a major bummer for their heart. She's all like, night ended before we even started getting cozy. And that old clock was still going day over there, basically saying she's got some major issues with time. Then she's all, if you ask where I am hid until tomorrow, just send me a happy letter, okay? Anyway, this lady's got some weird way of reading letters, like she locks the door and stuff. She's trying to be sneaky, but also super extra, 'cause let's be real, who uses locks on letters? Anyway, it's all about the vibes and the feels. She's low-key wild, and if she were with you, those nights would be lit. It's like futile trying to win down when there's a heart and port no way. She's all about that rowing life in Eden, and it's giving me major summer vibes. But for real, at home it was hella dark and cold. Just one star shining bright, but then it got blown out by a cloud. The wind was like super harsh on the little bush and drove away all the leaves. It was straight up winter mode. Then she's talking about this housewife who's just trying to keep 100 you feel. She's cozying up by the fire with her rocking chair and shivering for the poor people outside. It's like, how much more basic can you get? Anyway, this lady's all about possession and stuff. But like, what even is she talking about? If a harebell lost its girdle to the bee, would they still vibe? It's all about those pearls in Eden if it stays intact. But for real, when someone's got a charm on their face, you got to keep it low key. This lady can't even lift her veil 'cause she's too extra, but at the same time, people are trying to get close to her. It's like, what's good? Lastly, there's this one couple who's just living their best, rose on the cheek, bodice dancing to the beat. It's giving me major aesthetic. They're like two peas in a pod, and if you don't know, now you do. Low-key. Little clocks just started ticking together, right? So, in lands I ain't ever seen, they say the immortal Alps are Loki gazing down, whose fits is straight fire, touching the firmament, and whose kicks hit the town too. A myriad daisies got a major love for their feet, bruh. Which one's you, and which one's me on this August day? See, the moon's chillin' with the sea, but it's all like, hey, let's ride. With them amber hands, leadin' him docile as a lil boy along appointed sands. He's always on fleek, never missin' a degree. And obedient to her eye, he comes just so far goes away. Same energy. See, it's you who got the amber hand, and I'm rockin' the distant sea, where, obedient to the least command, your peepers on me. And it's all good, Jeeksiv. They put a belt around my life. I heard that buckle snap, and I was like, peace out, Imperial. My lifetime got folded up like a duke's title, D. Now I'm low-key dedicated to the cloud life's all about doing, the little toils that make the circuit of the rest, and deal in occasional smiles to lives that ain't too busy noticing mine and kindly asking if they can vibe with me. Whose invite you didn't know for whom I got a decline. XV, the lost jewel. I held a little jewel in my fingers and went to sleep, and the day was hella warm, and winds were snoozy. I said, "'Twill keep." I woke up, and I was all, "Fingers, what's good?" The gem was gone, and now I'm left with an amethyst remembrance XVA. What if I say I ain't waitin'? What if I just burst out of this mortal shell and get to you? What if I file this human off? See where it hurts me, that's all, and wade into Libri. They can't take us no more. Dungeons may try and guns will pop. It's also what now, like laughter was an hour ago, or laces, or a travelling show, or who died yesterday. I, nature. I. Mother Nature. Nature's the gentlest mama, impatient of the no one, the feeblest or the most extra. Her advice is mild in forest, and on the hill by traveller is heard, restraining that wild squirrel or too impulsive bird. How fair her convo a summer afternoon, her fam, her squad, and when the sun goes down her voice in the azels incites that timid cricket's prayer of the smallest flower. When all the little ones sleep, she turns away for a hot sec, just long enough to light up her lamps, then, bending from the sky with infinite love and care, her golden finger on her lip will silence everywhere. Aye, out of the morning. Will there even be a morning? Is day even a thing? Could I see it from the mountains if I was as tall as they? Has it feet like water lilies? Has it feathers like a bird? Is it brought from famous countries of which I have never heard? Oh, some scholar, oh, some sailor, oh, some wise dude from the skies. Hit me up and tell me the deets, Loki pilgrim, where the spot called morning is at I. At half, Pat has 3, a single bird is Loki vibing to nothing, but solo term, that's all about caution, you feel. At half, past 4, it's like experiment season and test vibes are hella subjugated. And then her silver principle comes through, and it's all good. At 7:30, it's like element of surprise, but honestly, nothing is poppin', just the vibe of the place. You know, Eve, day's parlor. Day comes up slow till 5, then it's like bam. The sun is poppin' and shinnin' like rubies in a sack, or light bursting out of nowhere, the purple ain't even trying to hold on, and the sunrise is all like peace out, fold, and then the topaz is packing a punch, and it's like the lady is getting ready to roll. Happy winds are taken over with them timbrels, and birds are just chillin'. Loki arranged around their king, the wind is that king. The orchard is shinin' like a Jew, and it's hella lit, stayin' in this dope spot, which is like the parlor of the day you feel. V. The sun's wooing. Sun just touches morning, and morning is I'm here to vibe with you, and life is all about spring fam. She's feeling hell empowered, like a queen, and it's her special day for sure. But then her wheeling king is like slowing down the pace in the orchards, showing off them sparkly threads, and leaving this new need, which is like the one of diadems, morning, is all. I'm feeling a little feeble, and she's all, oh no, my crown. Vi, the robin. Robin is the og that comes through with them reports when March is almost on, but they're Loki, too short, you know. Robin is the one that overflows the noon with their cherubic vibes, like April just started or something. Robin is the one that's all, I got this, and then they submit to their home and certainty, and it's all good. The butterfly's day. Butterfly comes out of cocoon like a lady emerging from her door on a summer afternoon, just vibbin', low-key repairing wherever she goes, without nothing on the mind, except maybe getting a little wild and free. The clovers are feeling it too. Her parasol is all, I'm here, contracting in the field where men are making hay, but then there's this cloud that's all, nah, bye. And even though bees are buzzing and flowers are blowing hard, this audience of idleness is like meh and disdains them from up high. Till sundown creeps in and it's all over, men, afternoon, butterfly and cloud all just gone the bluebird. Before you thought spring was even a thing, you see this bluebird just chillin' in the skies of independent hues, looking hella weathered but still flying, inspiring them habiliments of indigo and brown. They're like, choose a song from me with discretion and all, then they're off to some superior tree without no leaf, just shouting for nobody but their seraphic self. April. Hill's got an altered look about M. Village is lit with Tyrian light, white as sunrise in the morning. D. Twilight on the lawn, and a print of that vermilion foot a lil. Purple finger on the slope. G. A flippant fly about the pane. Oi, a spider doing his thing again, an added strut from that chanticleer, a flower showing up everywhere, fam, an axe going off in the woods, no cap, fern vibes on untravelled roads. All this and more I low-key can't tell, and you know that furtive look too, and Nicodemus mystery gets its annual tea. X, the sleeping flower, fool's little beds, which in the valleys lie. Some shook their heads and others gave me a side eye, and no one made reply. G. Maybe they didn't hear. I said, I'll hit them up again. Whose little beds, the tiny beds, so thick on the plain? 'Tis Daisy in the shortest, a little farther on, nearest the door to wake the first, little Leon to done. 'Tis Iris, sir, and Aster, anemone and bell, Batchia in the blanket red, and chubby daffodil. Meanwhile at many cradles her busy foot she plied, humming that quaintest lullaby that ever rocked a child. Whoosh, Epigee wakens, the crocus stirs her lids, Rhodora's cheek is crimson, she's dreaming of the woods. Then, turning from them, reverent, "Their bedtime 'tis," she said, "the bumblebees will wake them when April woods are red." Sigh, my rose. Pygmy seraphs gone astray, velvet people from Vevey, bells from some lost summer day, bees exclusive squad. Paris couldn't lay the fold belted down with emerald. Venice couldn't show a cheek of a tint so lustrous meek. Never such an ambuscade as of briar and leaf displayed for my little damask maid. I'd rather rock her grace than an earl's distinguished face. I'd rather vibe like La than be Duke of Exeter. Royalty enough for me to subdue the bumblebee. Say, the oriole's secret. To hear an oriole sing may be a common thing, or only divine vibes. It's not about the bird who sings the same unheard, as unto crowd, the fashion of the ear attereth that it hear in dun or fair. So whether it be rune, or whether it be none, is of within, the tune is in the tree. The septic showeth me, no sir, in thee, Xai! The oriole, one of the ones that Midas touched, who failed to touch us all, was that confiding prodigal, the blissful oriole. So drunk he disavows it with badinage divine, so dazzling we mistake him for an alighting mine, a pleader, a dissembler, an epicure, a thief, betimes an oratorio, an ecstasy in chief, the Jesuit of orchards. He cheats as he enchants of an entire attar for his decamping wants. the splendor of a Burma, the meter of birds, departing like a pageant of ballads and of bards. I never thought that Jason sought for any golden fleece. But then I am a rural man with thoughts that make for peace. But if there were a Jason, tradition suffer me behold his lost emolument upon the apple tree xiv. In shadow, I dreaded that first Robin so, but he is mastered now, and I'm accustomed, yes, so like he's all grown up, but bruh, he's still hurtin' a lil. I thought if I could just live till that first shout got through, you feel. Not all pianos in the woods have the power to mangle my vibe. I was too extra to meet the daffodils, 'cause their yellow gown would be hella out of style on me. I wished the grass would move faster so when it was time to see him, he'd be low-key tall and not make me feel like a small fry. But honestly, I was too nervous. I wished they'd just chill and let me live my best life. No bees needed, you know. They're still here, though, and no flower is ghosting me. Not even the Queen of Calvary got away. Every blossom is low-key respecting me, like as they pass. And I'm over here feeling all the feels like a sad toddler. And I'm just trying to keep it real with my drums. We're vibbin' on a whole other level. XV. The hummingbird. This route is all about the ephemeral life with a sick revolving wheel, a vibe that's straight fire, and it's all emerald and cushionial too, and every blossom on the bush is adjusting its fit, like they're trying to look fresh. It's probably just some bird from Tunis who took a morning ride, and now I'm feeling like I should get out there too. XV. Secrets, the skies are spilling all the tea. They're telling it to the hills, and then the hills are spilling it to the orchards, and they're spilling it to the daffodils too, and some bird just happened to fly by and caught wind of it. Who knows if I would have known if I bribed that little bird. Nah, I'm good, though it's way more lit not knowing. If summer was like a motto or something, then what's up with snow? So keep it on the low, Dad. I wouldn't want to know how you're getting your magic done in this whole new world of yours. Sve. Who robbed the woods? It was probably just the woods, though the trusting trees brought out their best gems, and he scanned them like they were some kind of trinket. He took and ran. It's all so extra. What will the solemn hemlock say when it finds out? And what about the fir tree? Xvir. 2 voyagers, 2 butterflies, just went on a wild adventure at noon, and they danced above a stream, then just straight up through the sky, and landed on this beam. Then they took off again and rode the waves like no one's business. I don't know if anyone else even noticed them, if someone said it to me from way out there in space or something. Report was all but none. 6. By the sea I hit the beach early with my dog, and we chilled by the ocean. The mermaids came out of their shells, and the frigates waved at me, and everyone thought I was just some Loki mouse who wouldn't move unless they wanted to walk on me. But when the tide came past me, it was all good. It went right over my shoes, apron, belt, and bodice too. Like, whoa, the waves were trying to eat me whole like dew on a dandelion sleeve, and then I took off too. He followed me, though, till we met this solid town, and he didn't seem so extra anymore. I'm trying to figure out if I care, right? Like, when I look at Dickinson, he's all old school, you feel. He's got a major crush on Arcturus, a starboy, but science is hella extra and gets in his biz. So I'm just chilling in the woods, grab a flower, and I'm like, hey, world, I'm over here. Meanwhile, that science dude is all about calculating the stamens of the flower in one breath, which is straight up savage. I'm totes more about catching butterflies than science is all about measuring things. When I catch a butterfly in my hat, it's like a major win, you know. But science is all, let me put you in a glass and make you do math. And then it just sits there looking all high and mighty. I'm trying to get some props from the universe when time's over, but now it's all mapped out like a chart. It's like, what if the poles flip around and stand on their heads? I hope I'm low, key ready for that. You feel maybe the kingdom of heaven is hella different now. I'm totes hoping the kids in heaven won't be extra when I get there, 'cause I might just look kind of old, fashioned. And what if they laugh at me and stare? Maybe Dad is going to lift his little girl up over the pearl style, old school, naughty, everything. Xai is a tempest, Batavu. An epic storm rolled in, and it was hella intense, man. The clouds were all dark and few, like a spectre's cloak. The creatures were all about that drama on the roofs, whistling in the air, shaking their fists, and gnashing their teeth. And they swung their frenzied hair. But then morning came, birds arose, and it was like peace of mind, you know. Sky is the sea, which is hella silver with sand ropes to keep it from getting washed away. Xai is in the garden, where a bird came down the walk without noticing me. I offered it a crumb, and it was all about that raw, dewy vibe, sipping on some grass juice. And then it hopped over to the wall, dodging a beetle like it's nobody's business. Sexiv is the snake, which is low-key sneaky, dude. It pops up in the grass. Maybe if sudden move is fire. When I was chillin', as a kid, barefoot, and morning sunnies were on, I thought I saw this whiplashed thingy, but when I tried to grab it, it just vanished. I got vibes for nature's people. We're all connected, you feel. But this snake dude is hella extra. Too tight. Zero vibes. XXV is the mushroom, which is like the elf of plants, you know. The mushroom comes out at evening and gets its magic on Dickinson ain't right, fam. At morning, in a sick hut, it's like it was chillin' all day, and its whole vibe is shorter than a snake its paws, and way more lit than a tear. It's low-key like veggie magic, the germ of an excuse, does it like a bubble foreshadow, and does it like a bubble vibes. I feel like the grass is hella stoked to be on this break, the secret spawn of summer's fly girl. If nature had a face, could she vibe check someone? If nature had an outcast, that mushroom, it's him no cap XXV. The storm. A wind came through like a fire alarm. It shook the grass, and a green chill on the heat was so extra, it passed we locked down the windows and doors like from an emerald ghost. The doom's electric vibes that very instant passed. On a wild mob of panting trees, and fences fled away, and rivers where the houses round the living looked that day. The bell in the steeple was wilden, out the flying tidings whirled. How much can come and much can go, but the world still got it. 6V. The spider. A spider was low-key suin at night without a light upon an arc of white. If it was rough or shrouded in mystery itself was the answer of immortality. Its strategy was physiognomy. Xvir. I know a spot where summer's all about that frosty flow. She brings back her daisies every year, recording briefly. Lost. But when the south wind stirs the pools and struggles in the lanes, her heart misgives her for her vow, and she pours soft vibes into the lap of adamant and spices, and the dew that stiffens quietly to quartz upon her amber shoe. 6. The one who could recreate summer day was way more than itself, though it was the smallest of humanity, might be, and who could reproduce the sun at period of going down, when the Orient has been low-key outgrown, and Occident becomes a mystery, his name remain. Sex. The wind's visit. The wind came through like a tired dude and like a host. Come in. I answered, then my crib within a rapid footless guest, to offer whom a chair were as impossible as hand a sofa the air. No bone had he to bind him. His speech was like the push of numerous humming birds at once from a superior bush. His face was like a billow. His fingers, if he passed, let go a music, as of tunes blown tremulous in glass. He visited, still flitting, then, like a timid dude, again he tapped, was flurriedly, and I became alone. Nature's all about the yellow vibe, than another hue saves she all that for sunsets, prodigal of blue, spending scarlet like a woman, yellow she gives only scantly and selectly, like a lover's words. Sexy gossip. The leaves, like women, are vibbin on sage advice, somewhat of nods and somewhat of portentous inference. The parties in both cases enjoin secrecy, inviolable compact to notoriety, sexy. Simplicity. How happy is the Ayahs? Dickinson is low, key talking about nature and stuff. That one rock on the road is all about being independent, fam, and not worried about anything. You feel it's got this earthy vibe going on, like it's wearing a coat of brown, that's straight fire from the universe, and just chillin'. It's all good with itself, no drama. Storm. The streets were hella busy, and then they just stopped moving. I'm talking about an eclipse, bruh. We were standing there, feel out the window, all this awe and stuff. Then this dude came out of nowhere to see if time was even real. The rat. This rat is hella low key, ain't nobody got time for it. Pays no rent, repudiates obligations, doing its own thing, ain't worried about haters or the law, just keeping it 100. Sex fee. Frequently the woods is pink, frequently brown, and sometimes they undress behind my town. You see heads creeping out and crannies where it used to be. The earth is turning on its axis, doing this wild rotation by 12, fam. A thunderstorm. Wine started rocking the grass, Loki threatening us all. Leaves are flying everywhere, dust scoops itself up like hands, and then there's this giant rain coming down. Wagons is moving fast, thunder is slow, lightning shows its yellow beat, and then it's like the sky is getting wrecked. But my dad's house just chillin', not even affected, with flowers. South winds come in, bumblebees are hovering, hesitant and drinking, and they're gone, fam. Butterflies pause on their way, and I'm softly picking them up, presenting 'em to the universe. Sunset. Ships of purple is sailin' on seas of daffodil. Sailors is minglin'. But then the wharf is still, you feel. Someone sweepin' with many coloured brooms, leavin' shreds behind, and it's like the housewife is just getting her life together. She sweeps up all this purple ravelling, amber thread, and now it's all over the east with duds of emerald. She's still got her spotted brooms flying, and they're slowly turning into stars. Then I'm like, peace out, and I leave. Sly. Mighty Footlights is burning, red at the bases of trees. Day theatrics is going down. Universe is applauding, and it's all about me being God fam. Slay. Problems. Bring me the sunset in a cup. Count how many dewdrops. Tell me how far morning leaps. Who spun the breadths of blue at Sarah. Tell me what time Weaver sleeps. Write me. Bruh. I got no cap how many vibes there be in this new Robin's ecstasy amidst all the Loki boffs, how many trips the tortoise makes, how many cups the bee partakes. The whole vibe is wild. Also, who built the rainbow's piers, also, who leads the docile spheres by with them fancy blue ties. Whose fingers string the stalactite, who counts the wampum of the night to see that none is due. Who built this little Alban crib and shut the windows down so tight my spirit cannot even see it? Who's going to let me out some sick day with implements to fly away, passing all that extra drama? Sleer, the juggler of day, blazing in gold and quenched in purple, leaping like leopards to the sky, then at the feet of the old horizon laying her spotted face to die, stooping as low as the otter's window, touching the roof and tinting the barn, kissing her bonnet to the meadow. And the juggler of day is gone. My cricket, farther in summer than the birds, pathetic from the grass, a minor nation celebrates its unobtrusive mass. No ordinance is seen, so gradual the vibes. A pensive custom it becomes, enlarging loneliness. And Tequest felt at noon, when August, burning low, calls forth this spectral canticle, repose to typify, remit as yet no grace, no furrow on the glow, yet a druidic difference haunts his nature now. Slelv! As imperceptibly as grief, the summer lapsed away. Too imperceptible, at last, to seem like perfidy, a quietness distilled as twilight long begun, or nature, spending with herself sequestered afternoon. The dusk drew earlier in the morning foreign shone, a courteous, yet harrowing grace as guest who would be gone. And thus, without a wing or service of a keel, our summer made her light escape into the beautiful. Xlovi, it can't be summer. That got through. It is early yet for spring. There's that long town of white to cross before the blackbirds sing. It can't be dying. It's too rouge. The dead shall go in white. So sunset shuts my question down with clasps of chrysolite. Sluve, summer's a obsequies. The gentian weaves her fringes. The maple's loom is red. My departing blossoms obviate parade. A brief but patient illness, an hour to prepare, and one below this morning is where the angels are. It was a short procession. The bobolink was there, and HB addressed us, and then we knelt in prayer. We trust that she was willing. We ask that we may be. Summer. Sister Seraph, let us go with thee. In the name of the bee, and of the butterfly, and of the breeze, amen, Sylvie, fringed gentian. God made a little gentian. It tried to be a rose and failed, and all the summer laughed. But just before the snows there came a purple creature that ravished all the hill, and summer hid her forehead, and mockery was still. The frosts were her condition. The Terrian would not come to the north of Oakdit. Creator, shall I bloom? Slicks. November. Besides the ain't nothin' better than fallen poets, vibin' a lil this side of the snow, and a lil that side of the haze, for real. A few fire mornings, a few low-key eyes. Jig gone, Mr. Bryant's golden rod, and Mr. Thompson's sheaves, you feel. Still is the hustle in the brook. Sealed are the spicy valves. Mesmeric fingers softly touch. The peepers of many elves got to be real. Maybe a squirrel's still around. My sentiments to share fam. Grant me, O Lord, a sunny mind. Thy windy will to bear word. Lord, the snow. It sifts from leaden sieves. It powders all the wood. It fills with alabaster wool the wrinkles of the road for real. It makes an even face of mountain and of plain, unbroken forehead from the east unto the east again. That's a fact. It reaches to the fence. It wraps it rail by rail, till it is lost in fleeces. It flings a crystal veil on stack and stem. The summer's empty room, acres of seams, where harvests were recordless, but for them. It ruffles wrists of posts as ankles of a queen, then stills its artisans like ghosts, denying they have been. The blue jay. No brigadier throughout the year so civic as the jay. A neighbor and a warrior too, with shrill felicity pursuing winds that censure a February day. The brother of the universe was never blown away. That's wild, right? The snow and he are intimate. I've often seen them play when heaven looked upon us all with such severity. I felt apology were due to an insulted sky. Pompous frown was nutriment to their temerity. The pillow of this daring head is pungent evergreens, his larder terse and militant, unknown, refreshing things, his character a tonic, his future a dispute ivy, time and eternity. I let down the bars, O death! The tired flocks come in whose bleating ceases to repeat, whose wandering is done. Thine is the stillest night, thine the securest fold. Too near thou art for seeking thee, too tender to be told. I, going to heaven? I don't know when, pray do not ask me how. Indeed, I am too astonished to think of answering you. Going to heaven? How dim it sounds! And yet it will be done as sure as flocks go home at night unto the shepherd's arm. Perhaps you're going too? Who knows? If you should get there first, save just a little place for me close to the two I lost. I'm glad I don't believe it, for it would stop my breath. And I'd like to look a little more at such a curious earth. I am glad they did believe it whom I have never found since the mighty autumn afternoon I left them in the ground eye. At least to pray is left. Oh, Jesus! In the air I got no idea which room you're in. I'm trying to find you everywhere. You're getting turn up down south, and it's a total maelstrom out there. Hit me with some help from Jesus Christ of Nazareth, epitaph. Step with care on this tiny spot, okay? The most lit land around is still nothing compared to your sick body. The best emerald seams you got are still a fraction of what's inside. Step into it, people know your name that far and wide, whether they're talking about the cannon or the flag or how famous you are for dying. V. Morns like these we said goodbye to her, and noon she was rocking, fluttering at first, then firmer. She never said a word, and I'm still trying to process it. She was all caught up in the moment, and I was in agony, fam, till night time, and one of us closed the shutters. Suddenly, there's this other noise, like a linnet flying out of nowhere. Vi. Some people get a death blow that changes them forever. They're not even alive till then. If they were alive, they'd probably be dead by now. But when they die, that's when their life starts. They. I read my own obit and made sure it wasn't a mistake, like the date and all that drama. Then there was this whole thing about how pious you were. The jury voted for God to have mercy on your soul. I got so close to your pain that I couldn't even handle when you left me. But at least we can chill now without any drama. V, I ain't told nobody in my garden yet, 'cause I'm trying to keep it real. I don't have the strength right now to break it to the bees. I'll just name it later when I'm feeling better. Don't tell nobody on the street either, or they'd be all like, what's wrong with Dickinson? I won't say it in front of my family, neither, 'cause that'd be too much. I gotta keep it low-key with the hills and forests. If they knew about it, they'd be all like, hey, we saw you getting ready to leave. And then nobody would know the day when I'll pass on. X. The battlefield. People just got dropped like snowflakes or petals from a rose, and then this wind came out of nowhere, taking M down with it. They were chilling in the grass, but you couldn't find M. Only God knows where he's hidden M on his list. X. The only ghost I ever saw was all dressed up in Mechlin. He didn't even wear shoes, and he walked like a snowflake, soundless, but with some swag to it. He'd chat up people, but not too much, just like the breeze that fades away among trees. We talked for a hot sec, but our convo was super awkward, and I'm still trying to get over it. Jeeks. Some folks are just too fragile for winter winds. We got to keep them cozy till they're done with. And don't even get me started on treasures in your nest. The grave is like a schoolboy's playground, but not even sports people dare to mess with it. Dickinson was all about feeling the vibe with the kiddos early on, and they were totes cold, bruh. Like no one noticed M by their pops, lambs, fam, CI, were low-key obsessing over this dead stuff. And it's straight fire how we reevaluate our worth. It's hella big in the grand scheme, but like we can't even see it with our punny peepers, Jake's eye, memorials. Death is all about making things significant, and then there was this thing that passed us by except for one dead creature. We're all about paying respect to the little homies who worked hard in crayon or wool, like this was done with their fingers. You feel, see, when we're feeling down, death's got to show up and put an end to the vibes. But for real, we got to take a sec to appreciate the little work that went into making stuff happen, whether it's in crayon or wool. Sigh. This book I got from my homie gave me some dope pencils, and they're all over this place where he liked it. Now his fingers are chillin', at rest. When I read, though, it's like the whole thing gets interrupted by tears, and we can't even repair it because it's too expensive, fam. Siv. I went to heaven, and it was hella lit ruby. Lit, if you know what I mean. It was all low-key chillin', and no one drew any pictures that could compare. People were vibbin' with the moth from Mechlin, and we were living our best lives. Xiv. Xv. The whole point is, height in heaven ain't got nothing on us. It's just better like this. We're good with what we've got, and if it was smaller, we could still make it work. GXVA. It's all about being real and not pretending. Even when it's hard, that's the only way to keep it moving. XVI? There's a shame of nobleness in confronting our own flaws. It's like, don't be afraid to admit you're wrong, fam. XVI. When we acknowledge our mistakes, it's like we're making amends with ourselves and the world. That's real talk. GXV. Triumph. Triumphant vibes can come from way different places. There's the whole room vibe when you overcome death by faith, or the finer mind when truth finally speaks up. There's also this other kind of triumph when we give back to ourselves and leave no regrets behind. That's the real Mimvipe Xvie. When it comes down to it, death is like the ultimate test of character, bruh. Those who can pass with flying colors get that special kind of respect from Jehovah himself. You feel sphere. No matter what your life story is, there's always a pageant waiting for you. We're all just trying to keep up. Jeek 6. It's wild how people just vanish when they were young, fam, like no one knows where they went or why. Now I know the truth, and it's even more trippy than I thought. X follows. I'm low-key still trying to sleep. My main Dickinson was vibbin' last night, and mornin' brought a new level of politeness, and I'm like, can't wake them up, but called the squad in, and passed their curtains by. What's good morning? When I oversleep, hit me with some real talk, brah! I looked at sunrise once, then I looked at Dickinson's squad, and wishfulness came over me for circumstance that was lit. It was a whole mood. It could not hold nothing. It was Sabbath mode. The bells were done. It was sunset all day, fam. So I'm rocking just a gown and taking it one prayer at a time. The only gear I need. I'm low-key struggling, and I got there. If anybody's friend is gone, it's the toughest theme ever, thinking about how they walked through life that specific time. Their style on a Sunday hair, thing nobody knew but them, lost in the sepulchre. How warm it was on such a, you almost feel the vibe. So short the vibe, short way off, and now they're centuries from that. How they were feeling when you said something, trying to touch their smile. And dip your fingers in the frost, when was it, can you tell? You asked the squad to tea, acquaintance, just a few, and vibed close with this grand thing that don't remember you. Invite and past interview vow, past what ourselves can estimate, that's the quick of woe. See, the journey. Our journey was poppin', we're almost at that fork in being's road, eternity by term. Our pace took sudden awe, our feet reluctant led. Before were cities, but between, in the forest of the dead. Retreat was out of hope, behind, a sealed route, eternity's white flag before, and God at every gate, Xie, a country burial. Make this bed with respect, make it straight and on point, in it wait till judgment break excellent and fair. Be its mattress round, be its pillow soft, let no sunrise yellow noise interrupt this ground. Xiv, going. On such a night or such a night would anybody care if that little figure slipped quiet from its chair? So quiet, oh how quiet. That nobody might know, but that the little figure rocked softer, to and fro. On such a dawn, or such a dawn, would anybody sigh that such a little figure too sound asleep did lie for Chanticleer to wake it, or stirring house below, or giddy bird in orchard, or early task to do. There was a little figure plump for every little knoll, busy needles and spools of thread, and trudging feet from school. Playmates and holidays and nuts, and visions vast and small, strained the feet so precious charged, should reach so small a goal. Sex V. Essential oils are wrung. The attar from the rose is not expressed by suns alone. It's the gift of love. The general rose decays. But this in lady's drawer makes summer when the lady lies in I was Loki terrified all the time. XV. I lived on anxiety to those who know the stimulus there is in danger. Other impetus is numb and vital less. As it were a spur upon the soul, a fear will urge it where to go without the spectre's aid, where challenging despair. XV. If I should die, and you should live, and time should gurgle on, and morn should beam, and noon should burn, as it has usual done, if birds should build as early, and bees as bustling go, one might depart at option from enterprise below. It is sweet to know that stocks will stand when we with daisies lie, that commerce will continue, and trades as briskly fly. It makes the parting tranquil, and keeps the soul serene. That gentleman so sprightly conduct the pleasing scene. Xvie. At length, her final summer was it, and yet we guessed it not. If tender industriousness pervaded her, we thought a further force of life developed from within. When death lit all the shortness up, and made the hurry plain, we wondered at our blindness, when nothing was to see but her car a guide post, at our stupidity, when duller than our dullness, the busy darling lay, so busy was she finishing, so leisurely were we, ghosts. One need not be a chamber to be haunted. One need not be a house. The brain has corridors surpassing material place, far safer of a midnight meeting external ghost than an interior confronting that whiter host. Far safer through an abbey gallop the stones a chase than moonless one's own self-encounter in lonesome place. Ourself behind ourself concealed should startle most. Assassin, hid in our apartment, be horror's least. The prudent carries a revolver, he bolts the door, looking a superior spectre more near. Sex. Vanished. She died. This was the way she died, and when her breath was done, took up her simple wardrobe and started for the sun. Her little figure at the gate the angels must have spied, since I could never find her upon the mortal side, Xexi. precedence. Wait till the majesty of death invests so mean a brow. Almost a powdered footman might dare to touch it now. Wait till in everlasting robes this democrat is dressed. Then prate about or preferment and station and the rest. Around this quiet courtier obsequious angels wait. Full royal is his retinue, full purple is his state. A lord might dare to lift the hat to such a modest clay, since that my lord, the Lord of Lords, receives unblushingly, sexe, gone. Went up a year this evening, I recollect it well. Amid no bells nor bravos the bystanders will tell, cheerful as to the village, tranquil as to repose, chastened as to the chapel, this humble tourist rose. Did not talk of returning, alluded to no time when, were the gales propitious, we might look for him, was grateful for the roses in life's diverse bouquet, talked softly of new species to pick another day. Beguiling thus the wondrous near yo, it's Dickinson, hands were gettin' all shook up at the docks. The crowd was low-key growin'. You feel. We ascended to a whole new level of energy. There's this one daisy difference between life and death, bruh. Xexie. Requiem. These dudes took a man from the morning, carried him away by men, met with the gods like they owned the place, who was Loki marshalling her away. You know? It was like one little girl from school or one little mind from play. There got to be guests in that Aiden fam. All the rooms are booked up. No space left for nobody. What's this inn called where we're getting our rest? Who's the landlord? Where are the maids at? Loki, these rooms are straight fire, but like no ruddy fires on the hearth, no brimming tankards flowing, you feel. Necromancer landlord, who's reppin' down here? Sex V. It wasn't death because I stood up and all the dead were like, no, bro. It wasn't night 'cause all the bells were poppin', but like noon or something. It was like frost, but my skin was feelin' Siroco's, you know. Nor fire 'cause my marble feet were keepin' it cool. And it tasted like them all, you feel. Xexvi, till the end. I wouldn't dare leave my G without a fight. 'Cause if he died while I was out, and I came back too late, man, I'd be toast. If the eyes that were trying to see me every time I checked in, they'd be all like, yo, Dickinson's here. Even if I didn't show up. If I stabbed that faith so hard it stopped listening, I don't want to shut it down 'cause I know it's real. Xexvi. Void. These streets were straight silent, no vibes, no nothing. Like there was no notice, no dissent, no universe, no laws you feel. Clock said it was morning, but like from night or something. And the epoch, man, it just exhaled, left nothing behind. Xexvia. A throw upon the features there's this anxiety, a hurry in my breath, an ecstasy of pardon. Brr. That's when I know it's time to say goodbye. But like permission from pain, you feel. And then I get the chance to come back, rejoin my own. Xexix. Saved. These tribulations are denoted by white flags, fams, pangled gowns for the victors. They conquered all that. But the ones who kept it 100 wore snow, no extra ornaments, just palms. Surrender's like a whole nother language on Loki. This fire soil, defeat ain't no thing, and all we said was, save it. Slew. I'm low-key hyped about how my vibe will pop when I get a second chance, till my hair and eyes and tiny head are gone in the afterlife. I'm hell excited about how my lips will weigh with a prayer that's shook like you're finally feeling me, the little bird of your care. I'm still getting over the anxiety I sent out. Some of those vibes got moved away before my heart broke, and why not? And so, till I lost all sense, forgiven, like what's good? Slay the forgotten grave. After 100 years, nobody even knows where it is. Agony that went down there, Just chillin' like peace. Weeds took over. Strangers came through. Spelled out the name of the Og dead. Summer vibes recalled the way, like my heart was trying to find the key dropped by memory. Actually, throw this laurel on the one that's too lit for nothing. Laurel, hide that tree. You're the real me, P. That is he! Poems by Emily Dickinson, 3rd series, edited by Mabel Loomis Todd. It's all I got to bring today. This and my heart beside, this and my heart and all the fields, and all the meadows wide. Make sure you count. Should I forget? Someone's got to keep track of this. This and my heart and all the bees that are low-key livin' their best life in the clover. Preface. Emily's brain was hella active, so there's a ton of dope material to sift through, and this 3rd volume is out of respect cause of the fans who want to see more of her unique style. Most of Emily's prose was fire. It even had rhymes, though sometimes it wasn't even in lines. Also, some of these poems were sent to friends in letters, and then they got published in 1894 in her letters. But we didn't need to include them all in this series, so most are gone, except for a few that straight flames as a book, and with flowers. There's proof that some of these poems were just random thoughts, but others had a personal connection. For example, the verse had a golden. Seems to have been sent to someone chillin' in Europe as a little reminder. The surroundings where Emily wrote usually gives away what she was thinking, but this series is all about that fire spirit. Amaryl T. Amherst, October 1896. Life. Real riches. It is low-key irrelevant to me if someone's got pearls who own the whole ocean, or if they're rocking brooches like the Emperor with rubies poppin'. Yaz, I'm Dickinson, the Og Prince of Mines, serving up them precious gems and shine like a diamond diadem on my domine. Fitting into fate is low-key, hard to cop, but you can get a little bit of it by taking it one step at a time until your soul's all about that adulting life, i.e. Hope is a savage fam. It feeds on the good vibes, and yet, when you get real, there ain't no abstinence going on. His table's always full, but what goes in comes out, you feel. IV. Forbidden fruit, though I'm low-key obsessed with the P inside the pod, locked away by duty. But it's like, so tempting V. Forbidden fruit, Heaven is like my ultimate goal. The apple on the tree, even if it's dead in space, that's where paradise lives. GV. A word is dead when you say it, but for me, it's just getting started V. Remembering the simple days is key. Those seasons are lit, and we're all just trying to invest our existence with some real flavor V. Life's trades are like so short, but we die anyway. That's wild icks. Drowning ain't as pitiful as trying to rise 3 times, only to decline forever X those church bells in steeples. They stand till they're ready to slay the game with some major melodic sigh. If you got it, you're a flower. If not, ick, fam. We shouldn't be judge others reading materials, xae. Can you even imagine the weight of that first syllable? It'd crumble under the pressure, sigh. Parting is all we know about heaven, and I'm low-key hyped to see what comes next. Yas need of hell, civ aspiration. We never know how high we're at till we got to step up. And then if we're low, key real. Our stats touch the skies, bruh. The heroism we vibe about would be a daily thing, did not ourselves get caught up in fear. To be a bala you feel. XV, the inevitable. I was low-key fearing it, but it came through with less of that and anxiety, because I'd been stressing so much for so long that I almost made it feel like home. There's this one thing that'll get you all up in arms, fitting a major meltdown. It's harder when you know it's real than knowing it's right there, staring you down. Trying to level up the highest is even worse than wearing the crown for life. XV. A book. Books are like, taking us on a whole nother trip without any major drama or toll. That frugal book chariot, though, it's a real mood. XV. We all know that heaven is low. Key above. The God vibes are next to mine, and love is the furniture, fam. Svee. A portrait. There's this one face, though it's all hate and no love or grace, and even a stone would vibe with it, like they're old homies, for real. 6. I had a guinea golden. I lost it in the sand, and although it wasn't a lot of bread, but to my eyes it was worth more than all that. When I couldn't find it, I'd just sit and vibe. I had this one crimson robin who sang fire every day, but when the woods got lit, he flew away. Time brought me other robins. Their ballads were the same. Still, for my missing T-bird, I kept the house at hame. I had a star in heaven, one Pleiad was its name, and when I wasn't vibing it, it just wandered off. The skies are crowded, and all the night is lit, but none of them are mine. Gee, my story's got a moral. I lost my crew, Pleiad, Robin, Gunny in the sand, and when this sad song gets played with tears, may that dude who wronged me find some real remorse and repentance in a country far from here, okay? Note, this poem might have had a personal origin, like many others. It's probably because it was sent to some homie traveling in Europe, just a little reminder of letter, writing delinquencies. X. Saturday afternoon. From all the jails, the boys and girls ecstatically jump for joy. Beloved, only afternoon that ain't got no prison on us. They're storming the earth and stoonin' the air, a whole crew of solid bliss. Alice. That frowns could be waitin' in the wings for such a foe as this. See, few get enough. Enough is yas. Dickinson is low-key wondering if we all got the right to be a little extra and blend into the crowd. See. So there's this dude on death row, too shady for hell, but still getting some props from nature. When his mom comes through for real, though, he's a whole different vibe. Excited. The lost thought. Dickinson just got a major brain clear, and it's like his mind split in half, and he's trying to match up the thoughts, but they ain't fitting right like. Can you even sequence? Reticence. That volcano, Dickinson knows its secrets, and it ain't share 'em with nobody unless you're a whole vibe, and even then, don't get too close. Nature's got your back, and Jehovah knew all along, can human nature just survive without someone to listen? Don't me XV with flowers. If recollecting means forgetting, then Dickinson forgets, but if forgetting means recollecting, how did he even do that? And if it's all good vibes and happy tears, how come his fingers ain't all shook up after gathering these flowers right now? XV. The loudest noise I heard was way closer than the sky, and it still got me shook, but like in a good way, you feel. And even though some people got hurt by that lightning, Dickinson wouldn't trade it for nothing. Life's all about that electricity, bro. The oxygen might have done its part, but electricity is where it's at. XV. On my bleak life, Dickinson tried to grow some flowers, and, it took some time, but his rock had some good soil. If you keep it real and put in the work, your flint will yield some gains. Sex. Contrast. There was this door on a street that just opened up for a sec, and I was walking by feeling some warmth and company. Then it slammed shut, and I was back to square one, but thanks for the contrast, right? It made me appreciate how much more I lost in that moment. XV. Friends. Are friends even a good thing? Can we just keep getting richer without them? Now they're either fire or a major paying sex. Fire? When you think about it, the ashes are still there, remembering when that fire was lit. Show some respect for the oak flames, because they paved the way fires like electricity. Man, it's where it's at XXE. A man, fate killed him, but he didn't go down without a fight. He just kinda got impaled on his fiercest stakes and kept it moving. Don't me a dude, 32, ventures. Loki trying to fail, but Heike want to venture all in. For that one move, though many people are getting it right, but they're just straight up overwhelmed. 33. Griefs? I'm like, got this. And then I measure every person's pain with my own eyes. Do their H's feel similar or what? Did they just start dealing with it, or had they already been for years? I don't even know. When mine started hurting, feels like forever ago. I wonder if it hurts to be alive, or if they got to keep trying to, and whether they'd rather just die. Wonder if all that pain from early on can give them pause, or if there'll still be a chin through the centuries. Enlightened to a bigger pain by seeing the love. The hurt is real. Death is just one time. And it's like nails in your eyes. There's pain of want and pain of being cold. That's despair. There's also when you're banished from your own tribe, looking at their air. I might not know exactly what they're going through, but it still gives me a sick feeling to watch the cross of those who are alone. 34. Got this one king who don't talk, just wandering around all day, wondering if maybe when night comes they can peek in and see something. They do. It's like 100 drums going off in their head and bells ringing victory from deep inside. And if they don't, the little bird inside me ain't heard nothing, so I don't even bother to pray into Dad, 'cause my vibe is straight up different. Can't be no perjury. 35. Disenchanted. It dropped pretty hard in my opinion. It hit the ground and broke on the floor at the bottom of my mind. But instead of blasting fate for breaking me, I'm like, screw it. I'm just messing with myself. XXV. Lost faith. Losing faith is way worse than losing property. Properties can be bought back, but once you lose your faith, it's gone for good. It's something you get from life, and then you're done, fam. You can't even fix one little clause without breaking the whole thing down to its core. Lost faith, lost joy. Had this daily happiness that I was like, man, but then it just started stirring, growing on me, till it was this huge thing around a crag. And when I finally saw it, it was like, damn, I love that. XXV. Been hustling for nothing and getting paid in chaff while the good stuff's all stuck behind some fields. What right did those fields have to decide what's important? I found out wheat, and now I'm hella glad I got rid of the extra stuff, was where it's viewed at distance and at hand. XXX. Life and death and giants like these are Loki still. Minor apps, like a beetle at the candle or a fife's small fame, keep it moving by accident that they proclaim. Slell. Alpine glow. Our lives are hella Swiss. So chill, so calm, till some odd afternoon. The Alps get real and we're looking farther on. Italy's over there, while the Siren Alps, like a guard, forever intervene, you feel. Sly. Remembrance. Remembrance is like a whole thing. It's got a rear side too, and a front side that's extra, but it also got a garage for trash and a basement with deep cells. Look at it. By its depths, our cells be not to pursued. Slay. To hang our head ostensibly, and then find out that such was not the vibe of our immortal mind, affords the sly presumption that, in this dense situation, you're also Loki taking cobweb vibes on a plane of Gauls. Bruxley, the brain, The brain is straight fire than the sky, for put them side by side, the one's going to fit inside the other with ease, no cap, and it'll be deeper than the sea. If you hold them blue to blue, one will absorb the other like a sponge in a bucket, you know. The brain is just the weight of God for put, pound for pound. They'll be diff they do. It's like a syllable from a sound. Sleeve. That bone that's all dry and dead. What's its ultimate goal, though? It ain't fit for nothing. A bone's got to pay its dues. A person's got to take responsibility too. If we're just a hollow shell, we're worse than just being basic. But how do we move forward when our bodies are done? Old Nicodemus' ghost is still haunting us. Slalover. The past. The past is like super wild to look it straight in the face. You might get rewarded or you might get roasted. If you're unarmed and ready for it, I say fly. Her rusty ammo could still hit you. Savai. Salubrious hours are what we need. When they don't fit on earth, drill em silently to heaven. Sluvi, these cherubic women are softies. One would never mess with a plush toy or disrespect a star. It's like our own worst fears, a horror that's refined and it's just a common human thing. It's like being basic fam. Redemption, honey, be ashamed of yourself. Sluvir. Desire is like the ultimate goal. Who never wanted it? The most iconic joy remains hidden from them. The self-control banquet is way more lit than wine inside its hope. Though it's still out of reach, desire's perfect goal won't be achieved till reality doesn't get in the way. Slicks. Philosophy. It might be easier to fail with land inside sight than to gain something, lose the will, and then you're just a hot mess fan. Power. You can't put out a fire. If it's lit, it'll keep going no matter how slow the winds will find it until your floor. Like Loki, a famous fam, a brief vibe of drama and fire is lit. It's enough, right? A sailor's life is chillin' on the shore. A soldier's life is all about that ball game. Who's hella extra must level up their game? Lee. So is happiness then such risk I gotta keep my feet right for fear I mess it up and ruin my shoe? I'd rather cop new kicks than cop out, 'cause buying new shoes is low-key possible at any lit event, but happiness is only once, and the patent's expired, none can cop it anymore. Lie. Experience. I stepped from plank to plank so slow and cautious. The stars were shinning bright above my head, above my feet. I felt like I was in a zone some call that experience live. Thanksgiving Day. One day out of the series is Thanksgiving, celebrated at the table, and in memory to neither dad nor simp. I'm dissecting the play. Seems like it's just a reflex holiday. Had there been no major cut from the early sun, not even an acre or a caption, where was once a room, not a mention, whose small pebble changed any bay. That's what Thanksgiving Day is all about, LV. Childish griefs. Time softened up my woe. How extra are those childhood tears that threatened my whole childhood and messed with the years. Now I'm bittersweet about it, were low-key envious of that childhood pain. It was so easy to fix. Love. Consecration. Proud of my broken heart since you broke me up. Proud of the pain I didn't feel till you. Proud of my nights since you light up with moons. Not trying to cop your passion, just being humble. Love's humility. My worthiness is all my doubt. His merit is all my fear. It's all about comparing, which makes my qualities seem low-key cool. So I don't get caught slippin' for his needs. The chiefest thing in my loving creed I love. Love is the og. It's before life and after death, initial of creation, and the exponent of breath, Ivi. Satisfied. One blessing was so lit to my eyes that I stopped trying to gauge. Satisfied with this whole new vibe, contented, as despair I knew no more of want, cold phantasms became real for this new value in my soul. The highest earthly some life's latitude got full. Judgment perished too, why joys are scarce, why paradise is hard to cop, why floods come in bowls. I'm done speculating with a flower. When roses fade and violets die and bumblebees fly away, the hand that paused to gather on this summer's day will just chill in Auburn. So take my flower, pray. Yes, summer's over and I'm Loki done when summer days are straight up gone. You still got that fire, when Whitpool and Oriole are done for you to bloom. I'll skip the tome and so my blossoms o'er you feel. Pray gather me and moan, thy flower is forevermore lit. Hey, loyalty. Split the lark and you'll find the tea, bulb after bulb in a silver roll, scantily dealt to summer morning vibes, saved for your ear when lutes behold no cap. Loose the flood, you'll find it straight fire, gush after gush reserved just for you, scarlet experiment. Septic Thomas, now do you doubt that your bird was true? To lose thee sweeter than to gain all other hearts I knew. It is true the drought is destitute, but then I had the dew. The Caspian has its realms of sand, its other realm of sea. Without the sterile perquisite, no Caspian could be. Poor little heart, did they forget thee? Then a care, then dinner care. Proud little heart, did they forsake thee? Be debonair, debonair. Frail little heart, I would not break thee, couldst credit me. Couldst credit me, Forgotten, there is a word which bears a sword can pierce an armed man. It hurls its barbed syllables, at once is mute again. But where it fell the saved will tell on patriotic day, some epauletted brother gave his breath away. Wherever runs the breathless sun, wherever roams the day, there is its noiseless onset, there is its victory. Sigh, I've got an arrow here, loving the hand that sent it, I the dart revere. Fell, they will say, in skirmished, vanquished, my soul will know by but a simple arrow sped by an archer's bow. Sigh, the master, he fumbles at your spirit as players, at the keys before, they drop full music on, he stuns you by degrees, prepares your brittle substance for the ethereal blow, by fainter hammers, further heard. Then nearer, then so slow your breath has time to straighten, your brain to bubble cool, deals one imperial thunderbolt, that scalps your naked soul. Xaye. Heart, we will forget him, you and I tonight. You may forget the warmth he gave, I will forget the light. When you have done, pray tell me, that I my thoughts may dim, hasty, lest while you're lagging I may remember him, Civ. Father, I bring thee not myself, that were the little load, I bring thee the imperial heart I had not strength to hold. The heart I cherished in my own, till mine too heavy grew. Yet strangest, heavier since it went, is it too large for you? XV? We outgrow love like other things, and put it in the drawer, till it an antique, fashionish like costumes grandsires wore. XV. Not with a club the heart is broken, nor with a stone, a whip so small you could not see it. I've known Yaz. Dickinson's got some feels. Famtoloki lash, that magical creature till it dies. Bruh, but its whip name is too lit to even mention. My G, the bird is straight fire, and it sings tunes to the stone where it chilled. Xvey, who? I'm dying over here, 'cause my friend must be a bird, 'cause it flies. Mortals got to die, though, 'cause that's just how life goes, barbs for days, like a bee, and I'm Loki confused. Xvey. I touched Dickinson so hard, now I know that day was meant to happen. Gee, it felt like a whole nother world, and the sea is all about keeping it quiet. Now, I'm all grown up, fam. I feel like I'm breathing super fresh air or rocking a royal gown. My wild self is gone, and my face is looking tender and fly now. Sick. dreams. Let me not ruin that perfect dream with some messy stuff, but can I adjust my daily life so it comes back again? X, Newman Lumen. I'm living with Dickinson. G. I see his face all the time. We're inseparable fam. Death can't even come for us cause of our special bond. It's like he presents himself to me invisible, and that's a whole lot of love. I live with him, hear his voice, and I'm still standing alive today, witnessing the magic of immortality. Time taught me that life is all about being endless. Exile. Longing. I'm Loki Jelly of the seas where he rides, the wheels that take him on adventures, or the hills that gaze up at his journey. Heaven's totally forbidden to us, but I can see what others can't. I envy those birds perched on his window frame, the flying bees buzzing. Round they get summer vibes and all the freedom. Xai. Wedded. It was a major vibe, fam bean, with someone who makes you feel like a queen. And if God's got your back, he'll count it fit. Dipping my life into that mysterious well is hard to do, 'cause it might take me straight to eternity. Dickinson was low, key hype for spring, and it was totes lit, aye. A light exists in March, but science can't touch it, you feel. It's like on them solitary hills, and human nature is all about it. The sun is out, and the trees are lit. It's giving us that quality of loss, but also it's making us feel all the feels. If the waking year. There's a lady red on the hill, keeping her annual tea. There's another white lady in the field, sleeping pretty. The breezes are sweeping, and the trees are all sweep. Prithee. Housewives, who's that? The neighbours don't know yet. The woods are all smiles orchard. Buttercup bird, you feel, in a hot sec. And it's all so chill. V to March. Ooh, March, come on in. I've been waiting for you. You must be hella tired from that hat drop. What's good with the rest, though? Did you hit nature hard? Oh, March, come up to my crib. I got so much tea. I got your letter and the bird's tea. The maples were all no cap. They didn't know you were coming. But, March, forgive me, 'cause you took it all no purple left for us. Vey, March. We stand March. His shoes are fire. He's new and high. He's making mud for the dog and peddler drying out the forest. He knows the adder's tongue, and it's all good. The sun is lit, and our minds are hot. News is on him, and we're vibing with the blue birds on his British sky. Vey, dawn. I'm trying to know when dawn is coming, so I open every door. Or is it feathers like a bird or billows like a shore? There's a murmur in the trees, not loud enough for wind. There's a star that's too close or too far to find. There's a yellow on the lawn that's low, key lit, and there's this hub of little men going home without us knowing. It's all so dapper and sweet. Little robins in their nightgowns, I'm dying over how many I see yars. Dickinson's got bars. The wings, gee, I heard them try. But then I low, Key promised I never would spill the tea. How could I ghost my word? So you do you, and I'll do me. No cap, you won't miss the road. X, morning is where it's at for that do. Corn gets made at noon after dinner. Flowers get lit. Dukes are low-key, trying to set that sun. X. Aye, my quick ear heard the leaves whispering. The bushes were like bells. I couldn't even get some me. Time from nature's sentinels. In a cave, if I thought I could hide, the walls started spitting. Facts. Creation seemed hella deep to make me visible. X. A rose, bro, it's got a sea petal, and a thorn on a common summer morn, a flash of dew, a bee or two, a breeze, and I'm just chilling in the trees. And I'm that rose. Sight. I was high from the earth. I heard a bird. He was like trees a whack, as he walked through 'em like they were nothing. Then he saw a breeze, and it was soft, like a perturbation nature had left behind. That bird seemed hella happy, gathered some good vibes, both love and shade, no drama. I learned in the leafy wood he was that dude's pops, and that bird's remedy for stress. A contrast to our chillin' sessions. How different we are, say, cobwebs. Son, the spider is an artist. For real, though his skill is fire throughout a Christian land, everyone knows the truth by every broom and Bridget. He's getting that recognition. Neglected genius. I got your back, Siv. Well, bruh, what mystery surrounds it? The water lives so far, like it's from another world residing in a jar. The grass is low-key afraid. I often wonder how he can stand so close and look so bold at what we consider scary. Related somehow they may be, the sedge stands next to the sea, where he's flawless, yet got fear no evidence gives him. But nature is a mystery, for real. Those who sight her most have never stepped foot in her haunted house, nor simplified her ghost. To pity those who don't know her is helped by regret that those who do know her know less the nearer they get. XV, to make a prairie take a clover and one bee, one clover and a bee, and daydreams fam. Daydreams alone will do if bees are scarce. XV, the wind, it's like the light, a fashionless delight. It's like the bee, a dateless melody. It's like the woods, private like breeze, phraseless, yet it stirs the proudest trees. It's like the morning, best when it's done. The everlasting clocks chime noon. XV, dew was so low-key itself and satisfied a leaf felt, how vast a destiny. How trivial is life. The sun went out to grind, the day went out to play, but not again that dew was seen by physiognomy, whether by day abducted or emptied by the sun into the sea, in passing, eternally unknown. V. Yas, Dickinson's vibes are lit like a woodpecker's drum, bruh. His bill is low, key and auger, and his head got that cap and frill thing going. He's hella busy pecking at trees till he finds a worm to snack on. 6. Then there's the snake, G. It's like sweet summer vibes in the swamp. But when we meet a snake, we're over here, say, for some chill houses and getting ready to ghost. You feel that the snake is low, key treasonous, and gal is where it lives. X. Dickinson's like, yo, I want to ride free like that meadow. B. Visit wherever I'm turning, no one bothering me. Just flirty with buttercups all day and get married to whoever I want. But for real, can he just chill on a raft of air and do whatever he wants? No police, no chase, freedom, just sexy. The moon is like the ultimate goat. G, it's gold, it's perfect, it's got that amber smile and silver vibes. Dickinson's all about being one with the universe, knowing he's just a tiny star in a vast firmament. Xxi. But then there's the bat. Bro, it's like the Og weirdo. Dun, wrinkled wings, no song to be found. It's like, who is this fly? Dickinson's all about give it props for its eccentricities and adroit moves. Xai, balloons, man. They're so extra. They go up, they come down, but the crowd's always hyped. It's like you can't even die without people going wild. The balloon's just trying to live its best life, but then it tumbles in the sea and the crowd's all, it was just a balloon. Xiv. Evening vibes are on a whole nother level. The cricket sang, set the sun, and workmen wrapped up their day. The grass is loaded with dew, and the twilight's like strangers meeting for the first time. It's like wisdom without a care, just chillin'. But then, vastness comes in. Yes, fam. So, like, there's this girl, Dickinson, right? And she's all about that peaceful life, even when she's chilling at home with her squad. XV, cocoon. It's like, who lives in a tabernacle or tome, though? Or maybe it's just some elf's catacomb, XV, sunset. This sloop of amber is literally sailing away on an ether sea, and it's all like Rex in peace, you feel. The sun of ecstasy, for sure. Skfi, Aurora. It's like the north is straight fire right now. So adequate, so preconcerted with itself. It's like ignoring all the drama and alarms. It paints my simple spirit with tints of majesty. And I'm over here like, yes, let me take vaster attitudes. And I'm low-key disdaining men and oxygen just to be extra. My splendors are a whole menagerie, but their competeless show will still get the centuries when I'm like long gone. The coming of night. It's hella dark out here. The old mountains are dripping with sunset vibes, and the hemlocks are all tipped in tinsel by the wizard sun. And can we talk about how the fire is just flowing, touching all the grass with a departing sapphire feature? It's like a duchess passing through. Now it's night, and where was the wood? It's just a Domavabis nodding off into solitude. These are some wild visions that Godot had Titian never told them, and Domenichino dropped the pencil. Xixix. Aftermath. The bees are all quiet now, but like, what if there's some posterior vibes coming through? It's like the lower meters of the year are here, when nature's laugh is done, and we get the revelations of the book that's got a Genesis in June. Time and eternity. This world ain't no conclusion. There's a sequel waitin', invisible as music, but real like sound. It's like beckoning and baffling scholars, and they gotta solve this riddle thingy. We learn from the retreating how vast one was recently among us. A perished sun is all about the departure, and it's even more than before. They say time assuages, but time ain't got nothing on actual suffering. It just tests your trouble, not fixes it. If we got a thing for you, sweet face. Not 'cause we're tired of you, but 'cause we're low-key exhausted too. Remember, when you flee, we'll follow till we can barely notice you no more, and then we'll just turn away, all reluctant-like. And if you take it now, we'd be like 100 times more loving before. V ending. Yayas, we Loki made it through that, whether it was a fire party or just vibbing with squad, or even just saying goodbye to the fam, or later leaving behind the world we knew, whatever. But for show, it's all good vi. The ghost is real, though seeing his face again gives me major life, and it feels like royalty. No cap vi. You're getting hitched, celestial queen, bride of the fun, and the sun, bride of the Holy Ghost. You're straight fire, no better din, vi. Only the keeper of this seal gets the ultimate pass to conquer mortality. Fam. X. Some people might be salty for a hot second, but when I get my life together, they'll remember how cold I was to them, and how they coulda been all chill if I just said please. Then they'll be like, hey, let's go get that little one, who can't even thank us for the shade we put on him. X. Immortality. It's a solid concept, and it makes me want to lift my hat and show some respect to the OGs. When we pass away, we get an immortal spot in the afterlife where pyramids don't exist and kingdoms are just a memory. Say. At first, it feels like they're still far away, but then you realize they're coming back for us. Fam, it's been on our radar for years, and now we know that we've followed in their footsteps. Sigh. The robins should chill, though, 'cause men and women who passed away have settled all their tabs, and now what's left of life is pointless. The sun is low, key hatting on those who can't get the memo about immortality. It's like, hello, you're gonna be in the night now. See. Death is like a sneaky insect trying to take down the tree, but sometimes it gets caught off. Oh God, and we got to outsmart it with some balsam. And a knife, if it still manages to escape, we should just let it go. Steve, unwarned, woke up early. Little sis! You forgot where you were in life. What's your routine again? Get back on track, girl. It's noon, and you're still sleeping. The lily is getting hitched, the bee is buzzing, and you're just chilling. V. When we lose someone, it takes a piece of us away, but there's still some love left in the world that'll carry on like the moon on a dark night with the tides. XV. The grave isn't special just for heroes, fam. It's for anyone who made it to 100, but didn't make it through Yaz, like Dickinson is hella low, key chillin' with his queen. You gotta cop this vibe. Okay. XV. Asleep. She's all about that no-pity life, and her squad is totes on point. She's as cool as a stone, you feel. Like she's numb to all the drama, and she's low-key living her best life. She's not even thinking about time or history right now. XV, the spirit. What's good with this ghostly energy, though? It's hella whiter than an Indian pipe, but also super dimmer than a lace. There's no voice, no vibe, nothing. It's all just chilling. Can you even tell if it's there or not? 6, the monument. She left her docile crescent down, and this stone is still spitting facts, even though everyone else has forgotten. It's all about the constancy, bruh. Sex. Loki. God was with her when she went out like a soldier. He had her back, for real. Can you imagine if I got to see him in his epauletted whites? I'd be low-key fearless. Sexy. Immortal is a big word, but sometimes it's just a necessity, fam. When we need a reminder of what's real, it's all about the proof. Sexy! Where every bird is flying high and bees are vibbin', the foreigner gotta keep it together. Don't let those tears get in the way, bruh. Sexy. My little cottage is literally my tone. I'm just keeping house for thee myself, making sure everything's orderly. It's a cycle, but I guess that means we'll get to do it again someday. Sexive. This was like in the beginning of summer, when everything felt extra hard to think about. But looking back is like the best option, or if you're feeling ahead of time, retrospection's got your back. XV. It's hella weird how time passes. This room is massive, and now it's just filled with shadows. XV. It's me. Come find me in this 6th spot. I'm so hyped to be here. Hear my vibes. The saints will come for us. We'll get that fame and recognition we deserve. XV. From where she was going, she's been gone for like a year now. Nobody knows what happened, but we're just stuck in the unknown, fam. Hold up for a second, hold my vibes. For fear I hear her say she's sorry I'm dead again, just when the grave and I are low, key crying ourselves to sleep, our only lullaby. 6. Trying to forget. I was shook after losing everything, so I left abroad no less broken than before being on a new peninsula. The grave was already there, got my logs before me, and when I tried to chill, the grave was on the bed, repping itself for my head. I woke up, and it was wide-awake rose. It followed me wherever I went. I tried to lose it in the crowd, or just let it dip into the sea, trying to sleep away its shape. But that spade was still in my memory. Sex. I felt a funeral in my brain, and mourners were treating all over the place, kept repeating themselves, till I thought my mind was gonna break. And when they all sat down, this drumbeat kept going, till I thought my mind was numb. And then I heard them move that box creaking across my soul with those same boots of lead again. Then time started tolling, and the whole universe was just a big bell, and being an ear wasn't enough. So I was like this weirdo, wrecked and alone. Sexy. I was trying to find her when I came, but death had the same plan. It looks like death won this, and my bad luck took the prize instead. I was trying to tell her how much I'm low, key dying for just one more sec, but death already told her that first, and she was all like, now wandering is my life. Rest would be a dream come true if it wasn't so dark in here. Waiting. I'm trying to use this waiting to get me through. My bonnet's just for protection, and shinnin', the door shut on my world. No more drama till his best step is comin'. And we're going to make that day happen together and tell each other how we kept it real. Sexy. When good peeps die, this world gets all weird. It's like they're in a different vibe or something. And they start wishing for a better life after they're gone. But it's hard to keep it lit when you're chilling with the dead. Sexive. The sun was extra. When excellence is dead, he was just a ghost every day, 'cause what matters is that one syllable that saves you from despair, and whose love don't waver if it's about meeting. Our timeline might be all wrong, but at least we got each other's back. XXV. She was so extra when she died, it made us all feel like we're the ones who are ashamed that what we cared about is just some mystery to her. She was all good with leaving this world behind before any of us showed her even thought about it, and that left me feeling a little jealous. XXV. Farewell. Tie up my life strings. Lord, I'm ready to ghost. Just one look at the horses. Rapid. That's all I need. Put me on the firmest side so I don't fall. We got a yayas. Fam, it's time to roll up to the judgment, and honestly, it's about to get real. But, I'm not even tripping over bridges or dealing with the ocean vibes, okay? I'm good, and you're good too. We're all about this life, but for real, we gotta move on. Bye to my old life. It's time to get cozy with a new one. Listen, if you're low, key dying, just grab a glass of water or something. That's all you need, right? It's not about the drama or the fanfare, just chill and be present, 'cause when we're gone, no one's even gonna notice. I mean, there's literally no color in the rainbow when you're out of here. But for real though, something deeper is going on inside this inner room, and it's all about vibes, fam. It's got its own thing going on, and we can't even touch it or kiss it. It's just there. And, some people are all, the soul should be chill, but I'm over here trying to figure out what's good. We got to keep that inner room open. 'Cause if the universe asks, our souls won't have to wait around for an answer. They'll just be like, we got this. Don't let the host get all up in your grill before you're ready to roll, okay? Just chill and enjoy the ride. So, 3 weeks passed since I saw my girl, and she was low-key sick or something. But then I saw her again at this village thingy. We vibed out and had our own squad. And for real, though, she's just as gracious to me now as she ever was. But here's the thing, when we're gone, nobody even knows what happened to us, fam. Are they all... Oh, someone went to heaven. No, if I had my way, death wouldn't be so extra. You feel? We just chill and enjoy the ride. If I can get my hands on this death thing when it's keep happening, I'm going to be hella stoked. Just as soon as my breath leaves my body, it's all mine, until they lock me up in that coffin anyway. I mean, think about it, lover. We're good to go face to face even after life and death. It's like the ultimate flex, fam. And for real though, before the snow is all over the place, or the ice is on the pools, or the Christmas tree is lit, Wonderland is just around the corner, and it's going to be everything. Yeah, it's Dickinson. To me, what's fibbing on a summer's day? What's just chilling, right next to a bridge when there's no one around? Does the outfit I got all teary about still fit? Slovy, dying. I heard a fly buzz when I low-key passed. The energy was so calm. It was like the stormy weather outside when the eyes were all shook up and people were getting their final breaths in, like the end of an era. I was all, hey, can I just take my stuff? Signed away what's left of me that I could even call mine, and then this fly came out of nowhere with a buzz that was like blue and uncertain, and it was right in front of me, but I couldn't see ex Levy. Adrift, it's like this tiny boat is just floating away. Night is coming, though. Who's going to guide this little boat to the nearest town? Sailors say it happened yesterday when the sun was getting all brown. One boat gave up, and then it just gurgled down. But angels are all, hey, on that other day, when the sun rose red, this boat was all, peace out, I'm going to ride these waves. And it had its own crew, redecked its sails, and sailed off into the sunset Slevia. There's been a death in the neighborhood like today. I know 'cause of that weird look. The neighbors are all shook up, and they're getting the dock. And then there's some drama with the windows. One mattress gets flung out, and it's like, what just happened? Kids are running by, wondering if they even died in this house I used to chill in when I was a little kid. The minister is all stiff and proper, like he owns the place and little boys. And the man from that, like, super intense trade came to take the measurements of the house. There's going to be some wild parade with tassels and coaches soon. It's like it's written on the wall for real ex-slicks. We never know we're going when we're moving, right? We just chill, close the door, and move on. Fate is all. Hold up, I got this. And we're all, peace out. All the soul storm. Every day it was like lightning was new again, like the cloud that dropped fire and light. It burned me at night. It gave me blisters in my dreams. It made my eyes sick with every morning sun. I thought that storm was over way too fast, but nature is all. Nope. You're good and left it up there, Sly. Water teaches us by thirst. Land shows us through the oceans. We learn to move by pain. Peace comes from battles. Love is in memorial form. Birds show us through snowly. Thirst. We start with thirst. It's like nature's first act. And when we're dying, we still want to drink that water that's out there. It's like the ultimate supply, termed immortality Xli. A clock just stopped yars. Dickinson's got bars. Listen up, y'all can't rock the mantels. Geneva's got game. Can't put the puppet bowing that just now dangled still. An oar came on the trinket. The figures hunched with pain, then quivered out of decimals into degreeless noon. It won't stir for docks, this pendulum of snow. The shopman importunes it, while low, key cool, concernless, no nods from the gilded pointers, nods from the second slim, decades of arrogance between the dial life and him live. Charlotte Bronte's grave. It's all overgrown by cunning moss, all interspersed with weed, the little cage of Carabel, in quiet Haworth laid. This bird, observing others, when frosts too sharp became, retire to other latitudes, quietly did the same, but differed in returning, since Yorkshire hills are green. Yet not in all the nests I meet can nightingale be seen. Gathered from many wanderings, Gethsemane can tell through what transporting anguish she reached the asphodel. Soft fall the sounds of Eden upon her puzzled ear. Oh, what an afternoon for heaven when Bronten there. Oh, a toad can die of light. Death is low, key rill for toads and men. Of Earl and Midge the privilege. Why swagger then? The gnat's supremacy is large as thine. Lulve, Far from love the heavenly Father leads the chosen child, oftener through realm of briar than the meadow mild, oftener by the claw of dragon than the hand of friend, guides the little one predestined to the native land. Leave, sleeping. A long, long sleep, a famous sleep that makes no show for dawn by stretch of limb or stir of lid, and an independent one. Was ever idleness like this, within a hut of stone to bask the centuries away, nor once look up for noon? Louvier, retrospect. It was just this time last year I died. I know I heard the corn when I was carried by the farms. It had the tassels on. I thought how yellow it would look when Richard went to mill, and I wanted to get out. But something held my will. I thought just how red apples wedged, the stubble's joints between, and carts went stooping round the fields to take the pumpkins in. I wondered which would miss me least, and when Thanksgiving came, if father'd multiply the plates to make an even sum, and if my stocking hung too high, would it blur the Christmas glee, that not a Santa Claus could reach the altitude of me. But this thought gave me grief, and so I thought how it would be when just this time some perfect year themselves should come to see me. Licks, eternity, on this wondrous sea, sailing silently, pilot, ho! Knowest thou the shore where no breakers roar, where the storm is o'er? In the silent west many sails at rest, their anchors fast thither I pilot thee. Land, ho! Eternity, ashore at last! End of Project Gutenberg's poems, 3 series, complete by Emily. Knowest thou the shore where no breakers roar, where the storm is o'er? In the silent west many sails at rest, their anchors fast thither I pilot thee. Land, ho! Eternity, ashore at last! End of Project Gutenberg's poems, 3 series, complete by Emily.